Welcome everybody to MogTalk episode 191. Today is November 23rd, 2019. For most of us that's on the show today, actually for none of us, except for me, I'm the only one where it's still the 23rd. Everybody else is in the 24th. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. Today's topic is going to be our second episode on the Epic of Alexander, where we'll be a little bit less reserved than we were last week with our conversation, now that all that information is kind of out there. Before we get started, I want you guys to know who's on the show so you can recognize the voices. And I'm actually not going to follow the list I have in a document. I'm going to start clockwise here with Arthars as the first one. So Arthars, could you tell everybody who you are real quick?
Hi guys, what up? I'm Arthars. Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. Sfia?
I'm Sfia. I podcaster for Team TPS that recently picked up a W in the Perfect Alexander. What was the fight called? The Epic of Alexander.
The Epic of Alexander. Yep. All right. Q?
Hi, I'm Qoya.
Okay.
But everyone just calls me Q. I play tank for MOOF.
Excellent. Stal?
Hi, I'm Stal. I play physical range DPS for MOOF.
Excellent. And then 6?
Respond to that.
All right, Vi.
Yes, I'm Vi, although Frosty likes to call me Six. I'm a melee main for MOOF.
Okay. Excellent. Today we're of course bringing on someone from the World First team, 3 members from MOOF who actually got World Second on stream, which is actually very rare. It doesn't happen too often. And then we have Arthars in here, who was not participating in the World Race at all. Please do not compare him to World Racers because he is not a World Racer. Yes. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the first question here. You've all had different experiences tackling Perfect Alexander. It's been interesting to see how you guys progressed. Are you guys all still feeling pretty good?
Yeah, it was a really, really good fight.
Yeah?
I think the general consensus is that it was just, in general, overall, it's just an amazing fight.
Mm-hmm. And guys from MOOF here, so are you guys had a little bit different experience? Sfia, they cleared it and then they were sitting and they were kind of quiet for a while. You guys were doing it on stream with everybody kind of seeing some of the mechanics for the first time on your stream. How are you feeling after that intense week of streaming it?
Tired.
Okay. It's exhausting.
But it was really fun.
Yeah?
I like the fight. Yeah.
Okay. Arthars, I saw you almost break down a handful of times.
Wait, what do you mean break down?
Break down as in, like, why is my member moving kind of situation over and over again.
I mean, those type of things is normal for me, right? Whether it's PF, whether it's... I'm not going to suddenly become nice because they are my static member.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to suddenly become more nasty because they are parks. If I see something wrong, I will just always call it out, right?
Mm-hmm. Like
no hard feelings, This is just what I do,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Just part of my streaming stuff, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit! I forgot. I still had the giveaway active from last week where we tried to Keck W. Let me turn that off, and that was because someone accidentally typed it in. So let me just go and find it real quick. Sorry, giveaways, and then let me cancel this. Archive it. Get out of here. Archive it. Get out of here. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry, you can't. You're not entering a giveaway. Giveaways later. All right. Giveaways way later in the show. Again, we have like a whole bunch of people in the show today, so the stream chat's not on here. I just want to make sure everybody had good room here. But that being said. The big thing that kind of came out since last week's show was, and this was really the secret, right? It was True Heart. When that came out in Golden Heart and everything else, that was kind of a weird situation. There's some people who hate it how it was found, and there's some people who are like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Sfia, I personally have heard your thoughts a little bit about it. How do you feel about how they implemented True Heart, and how do you feel about kind of having to sit on it for as long as you guys did before it was public?
So my initial reaction to the True Heart was that it was really stupid and that it was so cryptic and it felt really sort of just like forced into the fight and unrelated to other mechanics. But the more time I give it, the more that I actually like the inclusion of it. So the clues are all there. It's just you don't look for them in ways that you usually do in fights, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
Mhm.
And I'm seeing that more and more the further we get away from actually having progressed.
Okay. Moof, how do you guys feel trying to find that mechanic?
I'm not really a fan of the heart in general, I think.
Okay.
But I mean, ours was kind of much more recent
Mm-hmm.
because it feels just like a kind of a gimmick fight, to be honest.
Felt like a gimmick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
obviously it makes sense and everything, but
yeah. You guys are going to start getting people who understand lore. Like maybe you can get Ethis on the side as like 10th man, right? The lore specialist kind of studying the fight.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Because I can't think of any other reason. Because the way Sfia, you guys found it was just you saw the vulnerability and you're like, all right, let's just test it out. Let's just see what happens when we give it a whole bunch of stacks, right?
Yeah, we went about it the wrong way completely. We were looking for something else, and then instead of using the actual clues we had, we used the very, very obscure clues we got. So that's why I didn't like it initially, because we didn't actually think of the obvious clues.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, and that 6, that's... 5.
yes.
Stop bullying him.
5, that's kind of how you feel about it right now, too. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense why it was there for a bit. It was just way too obscure.
Oh, kind of. I mean, I'm a little bit... I don't want to be too much of a downer, but the fight was a bit not as mechanically intense as I was expecting. Really.
Not mechanically intense?
Expecting. Yeah.
Would you guys all say it's not mechanically intense?
Not at all. I would completely disagree with you there.
Because that's a fight that people are still pulling their hair out. By the way, if you guys want to, there are people right now that are working on Enrage. I'd recommend doing a multi-Twitch and having us kind of on the side talking and watch all these other teams who are working on Enrage, because they're like pulling their hair out and stressing trying to get the clear right now. I think Xeno's one of them, right? I don't know if they're still going right now, but I would recommend doing that, because that was kind of like last week. Everybody was streaming and progressing and everything while having you on there. I think having us in a multi-Twitch and then kind of watching all these other people clear at the same time was kind of interesting. But all right, what about Stal? What about you? Do you feel like it was not mechanically intense?
I think for a wormhole, definitely it's really difficult. But outside of wormhole, I think I felt more. It was more like movement wise, it was very unfriendly for me, because as a ranged I'm so used to moving so much. But when I got to a gavel and stuff, it was just like, oh no. Terrible.
Okay. Q, are you on the same note here?
Well, I think for me, I consider it's pretty mechanically challenging for me, but I don't think I'm very good at mechanics, so maybe that's why.
Okay. All right. So it's a little bit of a range there for you guys. Arthas, mechanically,
I think it's fine. I mean, I can't. I got asked so much about the comparisons. I mean, I can't really compare them just based on what is that? Just pro clear. I have to do the fight at least like 50, 100 times over the course of maybe the next 2 years to really sit down and see which one is more challenging. Because I think as the ultimate fight, it definitely qualifies, right? And yeah, definitely qualifies, right?
Yeah.
And if we want to talk about the heart, I think I agree, Sfia. It's just initially it felt really weird to be there. We tried. We spent 12 hours. We spent 1 day to figure out, because we were stuck. Okay, you are not going to test it until you are stuck with fake calibration. No way. You're not going to suddenly look back. If you don't get to fake calibration, there's no reason for you to try. So for a lot of people, even MOOF, to be honest, by the time we were at fake calibration, MOOF was still refining their, wormhole. So we spent 1 day figuring out where the hell the codex is, whereas MOOF is still, getting those quality time doing the wormhole, right? We spent 12 hours. We did everything. We tried to bring the both ads down together during the tether phase. We tried bringing the Alexander down to as low as 10%. We even have stupid ideas saying, maybe what if it's 9%? We throw everything at it. We LB, we pop. We're like, there's no way Yoshida is so stringent, right? 9%. You might as well kill the Alexander, right? Why bother 9%, right? So we eliminate that out, and then we try to kill the hands. And then it didn't happen. So we look back and we're like, it has to be from the inception phase. It's too easy. It's too easy. By the time we narrow down to inception phase, even Twitch chat has got it right already. What if you put the heart in a line and let them hit all the crystals? So we actually did. I think Sfia was in the channel. I'm not sure how they feel about it. We actually did once. We put them all in one line, except the last crystal was too near to Alexander, so it exploded. But we got 3 debuff. That's why one of our members is like, what if we get 4 debuff? So we pulled the line closer, but we didn't have the time because we already tried 16, 17 hours already. So we were really tired. We're like, okay, what about we try this thing first thing in the morning, tomorrow? So the next day when we woke up, we figured out that, Sfia put a video, so probably people figure out already. So that's why Sfia put it public. We're like, God damn it. We could have gotten it. But at the same time, I'm so glad that we didn't. Because if we found it, our static would have to go up for another 6-8 hours. Right? We were so tired already. But we were just glad that, okay, what we wanted to test was what it actually was. In a way, I was really happy that we actually figured out the whole mechanic. Not like, I was also doing blind prop, but people kind of spoil us before we get past suppression, people spoil us with the annihilation, right? So this time I'm like really happy that we figured out everything. But overall, I think it's really good for Alexander 5. The heart, I initially really felt really weird. Why is it there? Like, it's so weird. And then everybody started telling us about the law. I'm like, okay, I went back to read a little bit. I'm like, that makes a little bit more sense. I can see that. And also at the same time, Inception was just too easy without doing that. So I can kind of understand why they put it there. But right now, if you ask me, I think it's all right. At the beginning, I find it quite bullshit. It feels very forced at the beginning, definitely. But now, yeah.
All right.
Give it a pass. I think it's okay. Yeah.
So I don't know for sure. Q, did you guys figure out Heart before it was on like Twitter and everything else?
We did, but not that much before. Like watching Arthars, and he gave us a lot of clues because we knew, like, even though we were a bit behind, we were still doing Wormhole, that everyone was stuck at fake calibration because we can watch their streams. So that's that caused us to start testing stuff. Also, I think what Arthars mentioned about Inception being too easy, I think a lot of our team noticed that as well. It didn't feel like an ultimate level mechanic.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing.
Okay, I got you.
I remember specifically saying in Prague, like, this is my favorite part of the fight, because you just take your hands off the keyboard and just let the orbs float towards you, and you place the judgment crystals, and it's all very scenic. You don't really do much, right? It also makes sense that it's the highest amount of interaction you have with a mechanic, right? You choose where everything goes in that phase. So it makes a lot of sense for them to put the mystery in the part where you can actually control things.
It's also super trappy. Like, you have to kill the crystal at the very first place, otherwise you wipe, because he's going to get a buff. At the same time, how do you stop the crystal from moving? You have to use the green puddles. So it becomes very natural for us to think about, okay, we slow it, we kill it, he don't get a buff, we clear the face. Oh, yay, this is the check. At the same time, they make it in a way that, hey guys, what are you guys going to try first? Are you guys going to use the green orb first? Or are you guys going to use the crystal first? Now, I am pretty sure at the beginning, a lot of groups, including my own, is thinking about, what if we have to use the crystal to stop it, or slow it, or stun it, or gravity it? We did, and then it got a debuff. It got a buff, even a debuff. It got a buff where you just do lesser damage. So you kind of like go through a normal process, right? Wait, why do I want it to get a buff? I need to kill it. So let's keep it away. And then at the same time, you can only see Alexander if the Alexander uses a crystal. So I think they designed it in a way that it was meant for us to get misled. Only for us to come back. It was perfect, you know?
It preyed on what we already knew. So you went into the space thinking, I know exactly how judgment crystals work in Inception. I know exactly how these tether orbs work. I know exactly how the heart works. I know what happens if Alexander eats the heart. And so you think you know everything, but you actually don't. It just really bamboozles you.
I think it plays on like how we approach mechanics as raiders, and the preparation we did is kind of the same as the awakening in Uwu, in that they knew we would try to minimize the damage we take when doing mechanics, and they designed the mechanic for us to intentionally not do that.
And And that's actually, do you hate the fact that they actually played you guys like that? Or are you like,
No.
that's
I think it's brilliant. Yeah.
It just goes to show that they're very aware of how their community plays their fights and progression, which is it's awesome. It means that they're in touch.
Well, the person who's making it or who made it, this is their first time making it, right? They're just someone who watched everyone else do it beforehand, and they're like, okay, well, now I'm going to try my turn at it. And obviously he knew what he was doing. It was just, it was kind of cool to see that this guy, who's probably his first time making a serious fight like this, came out and probably made the hardest, would you guys say the hardest ultimate of the three?
I would say
Can't
yes.
tell. I can't tell that yet, but
Okay.
it was a blast. This is the most fun ultimate I had. I'm not sure whether is it because of the anticipation, because we were waiting for 1.5 years, we were so hungry, or is
Right.
it's just so good, man. Right off the bat, it's amazing already. The second phase, they throw in the S phase, the intensity comes in, and then the Nisi, where most of us didn't do properly, and then we have to do it. Granted, it's not the full Nisi, it's like
Right.
a brand new one.
I don't know if you guys would want to do the the full Nessie.
Brilliant, man. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Just compare Living Liquid to Twintania. That should sort of make a comparison of just how difficult this fight is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like, unobtainable, but I think it is just really a step up. They've raised the bar a bit.
Yeah.
This is Living Liquid is the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I play content for so long, streaming, right? I can't take my eyes 1 second off. As a main tank, once I take 1 second off, I miss a swipe, I miss all my timing. I don't know when to move. I fuck up the protein waves, and then I move slow, and then the boss hits the orb. I move slow, the boss do the hand, and then just wipe everyone. I'm like, I can't take my eye off. And then when I finally done with Living Liquid, let's look at chat, and then we have fucking limit card. And then I have to, okay, no, I can't. I have to keep focus again.
Yeah, you don't really get a break until Perfect Alexander really... I mean, it slows down maybe a little bit, but you don't get an actual break, right? So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I would give it that, because it is... we haven't really seen a fight that sort of has so much emphasis on positional discipline and like the need for that constant attention. Like if you misstep yourself one step in Gavel, you could be straight. That's like a straight up wipe at that point.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Six, I did fix your Twitch names on there correctly now. I had it as ET for so long, but that's okay. So yeah, and it's just such a strange thing because we talk about that, and then when we were doing the show last week, the whole team knew they couldn't say anything about it, and then people were like, oh well, since they cleared it so fast, they had to be like doing something horrible, right? They had to be, it went on for a while. The community was being kind of stupid, and I don't know why they just assume the worst just because they want to assume the worst. I don't know.
The time difference that was between first and second didn't help the fact that people thought negatively of us, right? As soon as the longer that gap got, the more and more people thought, oh, they must be cheating, People thought that we were being leaked information by Japanese developers. We knew everything going into it. We're using private servers, emulating the boss fights, all sorts of things like that. But ultimately, it just came down to us playing really well, I think. My team did exceptionally.
Yeah.
Very proud of them.
Dude, it's crazy, man. The more I do it, the more I can't fathom how you guys... I play with some of these people. I play with Sindorf. I play with Keanu. I play with Sfia, obviously. No offense. When I play with them, right, in a very normal setup, right, I just felt like, yeah, this guy is just another raider. I play with Sindorf. He helped us fill in UCOP a few times. UCOP make mistakes. Didn't really, whatever, right? I play Sfia, really good caster. Otherwise, just another guy. I play with Keanu. Okay, he's on Ninja, whatever. But when these guys come together and they brainstorm the fuck out of Wormhole and they get it done, so you have to be super consistent as well. The more consistent you are, the more you get to fake calibration, the more you realize that it doesn't work. It's very straightforward, right? The more experience you guys know it doesn't work. The more time you have to go back to figure out the hype. That's where the gap widened, right? The fact that all these people come together for the first time, I think personally, playing Final Fantasy for these 6-7 years, the first time I actually feel Wormhole mechanic as a whole, not just for your own as a whole static. If 8 people can come together and do it so quickly, that is crazy. Now I can say very easy, oh wow, I can do it. If I can clone myself 7 times, I would have do it as well. No, you can't. That's the thing. You need 7 plus yourself, special individual, to come together and troubleshoot one mechanic that is beyond, I think, mechanical, just positioning and stuff. 8 person come together to do it. I think that's fucking crazy. And the fact that, I mean, the time tells, the gap different tells how ahead they were. The more I do, I'm like, wow, dude, it's not just about myself anymore, man. They got a really crazy team there. They really got 7 special individual to do this so consistent to get that far. It's a new respect, man. Because like I said, when I play with them, just another raider, right? But you think about it, you just can't. You can't shake it off. Like, how the fuck did they do that? How many hours in did actually you guys take to, like, you know, get wormhole strats and consistently down? I'm super curious. It's insane.
End of the 3rd day, we were walled on perfect Alexander at Fate Calibration. So I think the end of the 2nd day, we were at Wormhole. So it took the 3rd day to get Wormhole consistent and get all the way to Fate Calibration. Yeah.
Okay.
Consistently.
3 days? Holy shit. That's insane, man. That's crazy, man.
So, Q, I'm kind of curious about this too. Seeing that this happened so quickly, because we talked about this a little bit, about how streaming relates to the race and everything else, and I figure it could be a good point to talk about too. Would you have rather, seeing them stream, or would you rather them not stream? Them being TPS.
It's difficult to say. I think if they were streaming, I think we would have felt like we were really behind compared to them.
Okay.
Would have put a lot of pressure on us, I think. Yeah,
it's kind of an interesting conversation and thing to talk about too, especially because, I mean, you guys did really well while also streaming here. But, you know, what could have happened is, you know, TPS could have cleared and then they could have just released their video and then all that strategy would have been out there and that would have kind of sucked. But it seems like a lot of other teams were at least around where you guys were too when they were going through and doing this stuff. And so it wasn't like when you guys cleared, it wasn't like there wasn't any big mystery for them to figure out. It's not like you spoiled anything for them when you guys were streaming. But if TPS did, they would have probably made the whole fight that much more uninteresting for other teams, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of teams would have cleared earlier if they released their video early.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad they didn't. I'm so glad they didn't. It was so fun.
Also.
I'm so glad they didn't. Oh my God. Thanks so much, man. Thanks you guys with that. So this so-called informal agreement, right? Like you guys do that. But yo, the moment you guys cleared, I was super scared. I'm like, God, wow. We were still only at wormhole coming out of the strat, and you guys already cleared. I'm like, wow, how close is second? How close is second? When are we gonna get spoiled? Because that's what destroyed Annihilation for me, man. We were working on suppression, and then the video came out, and then we noticed the Annihilation. That's what, you know, when people start copying homework, that's where a lot of weird shit goes on. You toss away your strat, you come up with a new strat, you just want to follow their strat. It become like sort of like a reprogress a little bit. So this time I'm glad.
Solving the puzzle is fun, right? Like they're like your team, you weren't world racing, but a lot of people take the time off to go in there and actually experience these fights blind. And so by not releasing videos, really wanted to respect that. The people who wanted to do that, like, have that experience. And there's only one time you can do that, right? You can't take the video back and all of a sudden people can unlearn it. It just, once it's out there, it's out there. And so all of us in the team feel the same. So it wasn't even like a decision. It wasn't a conversation. Sorry. It just, we all knew we wanted to keep it secret.
I think we really appreciate that you guys you would withhold the footage until like the stream teams got there.
There was also a Japanese team who found the Enigma Codex really early on, and they tweeted out a picture of their party list with it on them. And all they said was, "Is this what you're looking for?" And then didn't say another word.
Yes. Those
really cool.
people. Yeah, those people were from Chocobo because we know them. So when they put out the tweet, and then we were like, "Wait a second, is this real?" And then we were like, "Wait, no, these guys are people that we played before with in PFs in Mana Data Center. This can't be fake." then we start looking very deep. You know, we're like,
yeah.
Yeah. And
So-
then, go ahead.
Sorry, I actually wanted to talk about the fact that we didn't stream, because there are a couple of people that we've been talking to who thought that the fact that we cleared when we did and all these other teams came through afterwards, and they got to fake calibration, did that change the way you approached it? Because you thought, oh, a team's already cleared. This isn't a war. We just got to figure it out.
I would
Do
say,
you think
yes,
that you
absolutely.
threw your head at it like more than you should have because you knew that someone got through?
Well, personally, I don't think that there exists a mechanic, that there could exist a mechanic in last phase that would be so brutally difficult that the other pro teams couldn't beat it, and you guys could. Obviously, there would be, you know, some kind of a time discrepancy. Yeah, maybe you guys did it first, but not 3 days. 3 days is a bit much. So,
Yeah, well, I think what might have happened is that, you know, they cleared it, TPS cleared it, and everyone else was like, okay, well, if they cleared it, how much more of the fight's left? Because if we go back to, like, Eden's Gate, right? There were teams that were getting down to the 1% to 2% on stream before World First happened. So the whole fight was already seen, really, when those clears started to come in, but Ultimate was just a different beast entirely. And I think people forgot that too. I think people forgot how hard Ultimate really was after like 18 months of not having it.
We had Alphascape, and then we had Edenscape, or whatever it's called. And that's it. That's all we've had forever. The last Ultimate, the last really hard content we had was Uwu. And when did that even release? Like middle of last year?
18 months ago.
18 months.
18 months
A
ago.
long time.
And it's really scary to see it. I mean, to me, you know, it's kind of interesting because if we go back to Alexander and Gordius, where they just destroyed teams. Living Liquid just destroyed. They were like, okay, yeah, people just can't do it. They're going to break their teams up and everything else. We're kind of seeing something close to that with this Ultimate right now. We're seeing teams just like either splinter apart or just kind of give up and stop. And is that a bad thing or is that a good thing for Ultimate? Should Ultimate be punishing enough to make people realize maybe you're gonna not be good enough to clear this content?
yep.
Yep. I mean, this content is gonna last 2 years. We now have proof and evidence that Square Enix is not gonna take Ultimate like some, you know, come and go content, right? Granted, after the job changes and stuff, U and UCOP D became easier, but you can't escape some of the mechanics that you have to do, right? I look at this Ultimate, I think this Ultimate out of all the three probably is the one that is gonna last and survive the test of time, right? All these mechanics, wormhole, I don't give a shit if you're level 90, you can't do wormhole, you're gonna wipe, right? The nature of it, right? So I think the difficulty is there, and I think, you know, for Static who feels like we can't do it now, let's disband. This is one step too high for us. Yeah, disband. Wait. Find another group. Wait for another opportunity. You got 2 years to do it. You got the next Ultimate to do. You can do the next Ultimate. You realize that, oh shit, this next group is really good. Let's go back and do Alexander. You can totally do that. I think it's supposed to be like that. And also, this is again, a lot of people didn't know, like you guys said, it has been 18 months. You know, we only had like Sfia said, we only have got Alphascape and Eden. A lot of people also come through playing this game because it's a new expansion. Right, a lot of people first time seeing Ultimate, they were like, "What the hell is this thing? Can I even do it?" I think it should send out this message. You know, that's what Ultimate is about. I think, yeah.
I think
There
that's
always
good.
needs to be
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, there always needs to be something in game to aim towards for any player, right? And there's Savage for people who are, you know, used to extreme trials and things like that. And then after Savage, you need something that's really difficult to actually like bring you up and raise your standard of play and what you should be expecting of yourself. Having something to aim for is super important in any game.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I do feel like maybe you can say a lot of teams underestimated the fight because, like, back when I was doing prog in for Uwu, I think the rule for doing HC prog in Ultimate was that you take 2 weeks off, and then I see a lot of teams, they didn't take the time that because they thought maybe they got better and that they could clear it in 1 week.
Yeah, there's a handful of teams who were just taking a week, and they're like, you know what, if it's too hard, it's too hard. But now that they realize it is too hard, they're also very upset that it's too hard too. And I've seen a lot of bitter comments about it. But, you know, it is what it is. Ultimate is something that's going to last a lot of people who are dedicated enough a lot of time for like until at least. I mean, this is definitely going to last for 3 months until Savage comes out, right? And Savage for most teams will take off 2 days and clear it and be done. So it may last 6 months until the next Ultimate because Savage will be just a couple of days that they deal with before they get back on the train for Ultimate. But I don't know. Like, I'm going to try it myself, but I'm afraid. I am fearful for being able to do it because I feel like there's so many things that has to go right for me to clear it, right? I have to find the right people. I have to be able to do it myself. I have to find the right people at the right time. It's weird. And then, if I go into a situation where I'm doing it with people who have cleared it, am I being carried? Does that mean that I shouldn't deserve it? There's this whole thing, right? It's just this whole crazy situation, which I don't think that's the case ever.
No.
Yeah.
No one can carry anyone through wormhole. No.
Yeah, this is the most intensive personal responsibility fight in the game. Everyone has to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that being said, is this going to be like one of the most respected kind of titles out there right now because of how big that wall is compared to, well, I mean, again, we haven't really declared if it's the hardest one, but to me, again, it seems like the hardest one. Is this going to be a more respected title to have than the other ones? No?
Dude, I don't know, man. I didn't like Alexander a lot during Heaven's Word. I really didn't like it. I didn't like the story attached to it. I didn't like the goblins were involved. I didn't like how weak it is when we, just came out from around Reborn and Qoya, right? I didn't dig it. Like Living Liquid just beat the shit out of me. There's no law reason why. I just get wrecked. I don't even know where this thing come from, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly doing this, Alexander, this is my favorite already. This is just, dude, I don't know what else to say, man. Yeah. This is just, it's so different. It's so unique. It's so fresh that I feel, I don't know, man. I don't know who this guy who made it is, which I don't think we have a name yet. But, oh my God.
We'll know them. I'm sure they'll be at FanFest. They have to be. This is going to be one of those things where we see them come up at FanFest. But
yeah, I don't care who says this is whether this is the hardest. How do I compare? I think this is, for sure, out of the three, this is the best one for me at the moment. This is the best one. After I finished progging, the last 2 days when I was resting, I've been sitting here, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then my JP static decided to reprog today. I was so excited. I can't wait to get in.
Really?
Now that I got in, and then I see my other 4 JP static. Okay, my JP static, we are still a static, but we didn't prog together because 4 of them can only prog 8 hours, whereas my leader wants to prog 12 plus. So we get 4 more people just to do progging. So now that we clear, that group is gone. We are back to our static. So now we are trying to get these 4 people re-clear. Now that I'm sitting like, yo, let's see how you guys do. It's such a different perspective. You see them struggle. They were so, what they told me? They say, hey, Arthars, don't worry about it. If we were to take 1 phase per 2 hours, 5 phase, if we were to reprog 1 day, we would have cleared. 2 days into this fight, I asked them, you guys sure you can do that? You guys think 2 hours a phase? Really? Today we did 6 hours. We just got to the end of Nisi. And then all of us is like, wow, this is really fun. I'm like, yep, this one is really special. This one is really special. UCOP is so easy to re-clear. You hand a blueprint of strat to the person. You run 2-3 times. Probably the guy with good experience know how to execute it. This one is different, man. This one is different. I would say this one is really different.
Yeah. So I got to ask you guys a move. And I'm going to ask Stal. You know what? Because I'm going to pick on her a little bit. Do you want to do this fight again after clearing it?
Yes, actually been planning to get a reprog group going on after a couple of weeks with some friends.
Okay. So you're going to take up vacation.
She wants to pad this.
Oh, wants to
no,
pad?
that's not true.
Okay. I mean, you guys already have pretty high percentiles, right? I would have to imagine that. What is second? Like, do you guys get? I don't know how it goes. I know it automatically gives you 100 for clearing it first, right? And having the logs up. Then the second one is like 99, or I don't know.
No, after the first one, it's all just historical passes, so it's all compared against whatever else is already there. Yeah, that's why you got to get in first. It's all for FFLogs. There's no other reason to world prog, by the way. It's just so you can get that 100 on day one.
Fair.
Star wants her logs so
I
that
know.
she can get 100, but her logs
My
are private.
logs are-
So
My logs are private because I don't want to care so much about FFLogs.
You don't
just
want
the
people to.
experience.
Okay, I get it. I know exactly the personality here. You don't want people to look at you and compare themselves to you. You want to look at yours and compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can
Gotcha.
say, I'm better than you. I'm not going to tell you I'm better than you, but I'm better than you and you'll feel better, right? Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. So going a little bit more back to the streaming here, I guess. And I gotta ask this again. It feels like Q, Stal, 6. Are you guys going to stream your next prog probably, or are you probably going to go back and try to? Because doing it off stream is a competitive advantage. Absolutely, there's no doubt. There's a competitive advantage to doing it off stream. Do you think that you will ever not stream it?
we can't say for sure yet, but for me personally, I think I would like to continue streaming prog in the future just because it's really fun.
Okay. Style 6, you guys the same?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always kind of wanted to stream prog. It's just that in Eden we didn't have the chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, chat kind of really helped us a lot in terms of morale as well. It really got us to get the clear. It was really all thanks to chat.
Okay.
That's actually ironically true.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
We couldn't exit. We couldn't exit with all the people cheering us on,
Oh, okay.
and we didn't clear. Couldn't disappoint them.
Oh, is that what it became, a disappointment factor? That usually makes groups fail more.
Dude, I'm on the opposite, man. I feel like, the day that we went 17 hours, we were like 1% enraged. My static keeps saying, let's go again. I'm like, dude, if you guys are tired, you guys should just sleep. Because you guys are obviously dropping levels, right? And then we take a break. And then the next day, I load up my stream. 20 minutes in, we one-shot it. I feel so bad. I feel like, oh my God, why? People have, those people who stayed 17 hours watching it, cheering on. And then the next day, you on your stream 20 minutes in and you cleared before everybody comes in. I feel so bad. I kind of feel like, wow, maybe I should have just ward it or something. Maybe I should just auto run into a wall or something. I was hoping that they wipe. I was saying on stream, you guys better don't fucking one-shot this. I want everybody to come in. It's no longer about me, At that point, it's no longer about me. It's so fun when all these people come. Every time we get the Brute Justice, we get the Pepe D. Every time we get the Alex Tender, we got people dancing, Pepe Jerry. It's so refreshing. It's like it takes the edge off. When you look at them doing that, you're like, oh my God, here we go again. There's so much gift spam emotes to the point that my PC couldn't handle it. I was wondering, how come every time when I get the Brute Justice, right, my game start dropping FPS? I'm like, what the is there something wrong? Then my friend told me, because you have your emotes animation on, you should turn on animation. I'm like, wait, what? That makes my PC lag. Yeah. I'm like, okay. It was so much fun. You see that everybody interacting. You see people interacting themselves, having fun themselves. Because we can't really talk much. Because like I said earlier, the whole fight, we don't really have time to take our eyes off. But it's so fun to see, everybody coming in. And I think what Crystal said as well, right? Crystal as in Stal, just in case people doesn't know, like it gives you something, another edge. It gives you the next step. It gives you the extra inch to go forward. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, holy shit, man. I run so much ads because they keep wanting ads. Dude, I earn so much money just from ads, man. It's insane. You guys should stream me, run ads. Sfia, run some ads. It's worth it.
Okay. I should run some ads right now. Let me turn it on real quick. No, so the other thing, on this whole other side, I do appreciate everyone who is going really hardcore serious into it, and they are streaming, because that gives a lot of people who are watching a race something to look at, right? I mean, you may have less of a chance, and there could be issues that come along with that, but with the world race and everything else, when we're talking about knowing where people are on one boss, how the fuck do you know unless people are streaming, right? You don't even know what it looks like. And so that does help the community a lot. And again, I completely respect any team's decision whether they want to stream or they don't want to stream, no matter what level they are, what skill they are, because in the end, it's just their choice, right? Who cares? And after past that,
just now you were asking the question on Stal whether they want to stream. But I actually also want to ask that question actually to Sfia. Do you guys ever thought about at some point? I mean, it's been 5-7 years. Do you guys do this? I mean, you guys got world first this time, right? But like for the next one, do you guys actually have any,
It's never come up. It's never really been a question in this team that I'm in now. Before, back when I was raiding with, Layla and Fold and stuff, the question was raised a few times. And it was kind of always me that shot it down because I didn't want to hurt my chances at winning. Because it does, essentially.
Yeah.
So it was selfish to a degree, but I don't know. It's an idea I'd like to entertain at some point, but I would immediately feel as if I'm putting myself at a disadvantage by doing so.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
But don't you ever thought of it another way? What if you put yourself in this disadvantage and then carry on to do it? That changes everything. It's revolutionary if you can pull that off, right? Did you ever
It would be cool. It would be a really good experience, but I think I'm too competitive to do that personally. Yeah.
And again, if they would have streamed although technically you guys figured out heart, I think the same day that you guys cleared it, is that right? Or you figured out about the heart? How long? Same day.
We had the idea of getting 4 stacks on the heart at like 3:30 a.m. my time when I first woke up. We started raid at 4:30 a.m. Got the 4-stack heart and saw it turn gold at 6:30, so 2 hours after that started, and then we cleared it 12 hours later.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, you already had a lot of time on the phase after it, so you understood there was something to find. Okay.
We spent, I think, 5 hours the night before, 4 or 5 hours on Fate Calibration Alpha, just chain pulling. We were getting there 3-4 times an hour. Really, really consistently. So we got all the information we needed so that the first time we got the codex and we got back to Fate Calibration Alpha, we saw all the way to beta, and then we got a working strat for beta in one pull.
Okay.
Because we spent so long smashing our heads and we had such a in-depth understanding of Fate Calibration Alpha just without knowing how everyone got every debuff.
Mm-hmm. And the strange thing about this, and I think a lot of people may think this stuff too, right? So when your group clears, they automatically assume, like, if it was a FC that cleared, we could say, I'm trying not to use Elysium for an example because then I'm actually saying something, but no, say Elysium clears, they're like, oh, one team cleared, they must have put all their strategy and information down to the other teams so they can clear it too. Do you see any kind of interaction like that? When you guys cleared, did you tell other teams, hey, this is what you got to do?
We knew immediately that any leaking of this information would ruin the race for everyone else. Because if you tell one person, they tell the one person they trust, who tells the one person they trust, and then everyone knows within hours. And the way that the heart worked was so important to the structure of this fight and the development of the race that you just couldn't tell anyone. We sat in a locked voice chat and we just watched the race as nobody else knew it, and it was just a really cool experience. Okay. I'm glad we got some tight-lipped players in our team.
Yeah, that was really impressive. That was super impressive. So good on you guys for sure. And with all the nonsense going on and everything else, I did get that sneak peek. And so I had to kind of deal with that a little bit too. When I first saw it, I was like, "What the fuck are you even showing me?" And then, eventually, that's I think the first time I actually knew any real information that was going on, past maybe someone else knowing it. So that was weird for me too. But
yeah, when we showed you the clear vid, I don't think any other team was even at Perfect Alexander. I think everyone else in the world was on our wormhole still. So when we showed you a wall that nobody else had gotten to yet, it would have just been like, what the hell is going on here? Right. I don't even understand. Yeah.
But no, it was interesting, and I appreciate that. And the only thing that I'm afraid of is when people share that stuff with me, that someone else is going to leak it, then I'm in a group of people where someone leaked some information, so I am a possibility of a leak, and that's why I'm usually like, no, don't show me, I'm okay, I'm good, but it worked out. So
Yeah. No, we.
Dude, can we take a small detour and talk about fate calibration? I'm not sure whether they got.
Well,
they
we
actually-
talk. Yeah, we can because I wanted to just talk on streaming just a little bit, and then now we're good with that. So.
Dude, when I saw the fate calibration the first time, I was like, what the fuck is this fine? When I get the codex and I see the game, it fucking blew my mind, man. Like, it's not, okay, now that we all done it, it's not a difficult mechanic, but the fact that they visually did something like that, it blew my mind, man. I played Final Fantasy XIV for so long, I never thought they could do something like that. When I saw that image, I was like, the mechanics happened, right? I was trying to dodge, right? I was like, wow, I didn't get hit by the beat. Wait, what? And then the calibration began. I'm like, wait a second. That was my future. It blew my mind, man. I actually shed a tear. I actually shed a tear. I was so touched when I saw that. It was an insane experience.
Let's
even if it's not very difficult, it's I think thematically and in terms of just aesthetically and the way it fits into the fight and tells a story, nothing else matches that at all. It's just beautiful. It's an incredible mechanic.
It's the coolest mechanic they've made.
It was very interesting. How'd your team like? Did you immediately know when you saw it? What was happening?
So what? Oh, alpha?
No, when you saw fate calibration and you went in there and you start seeing your image and arrows and everything else, could you make sense of what was happening?
I don't think we were the first on stream to see alpha because we did the heart and then we just failed at wormhole for several hours.
Okay.
And I think someone else got there first. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the one ace got there before us, so we actually saw what they.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, it's a really interesting mechanic because it's not something I thought of at all, and I don't think that I would have thought of in any way when designing this fight because it's new. It's not. We're not used to Ultimates having new things, really. I mean, they do kind of have new stuff, right? But I mean, usually we're like, oh yeah, I know this, I remember this, all this great stuff. Every once in a while we'll see something new, but this was really fucking new and crisp and fresh and amazing to watch. And so
we all thought it's gonna be time gate. That's what we all thought. When we talk about Alexander and time travel and stuff, we all thought it's gonna be time gate. We all thought that during the calibration phase when he's casting the thing, that's time gate for us to go in and do something.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't watching any show. I didn't have time. I was raiding. When I finish, I sleep. I just turn around and I just sleep. I wake up. I just put on my specs. I just put on the shirt. Sometimes I wear the same shirt until Chad tells me I'm wearing the same shirt. Then I start raiding. I didn't have time to like check videos. So when I saw it the very first time, I was like, for the next 2 hours, I couldn't focus because of how good it is. You know when you go and watch Avengers Endgame, when you finish it, you come out from the cinema, you're like, I don't feel like doing anything today. I don't feel like streaming. I don't feel like playing. I just want to sit down and soak it in. That's how I feel when I saw the fate calibration the first time. When I saw those, my future giving me hints, I'm like, 2 hours, man, I couldn't focus. I just keep wiping. I just couldn't shut up about it on stream. I just keep talking about it. I couldn't focus. The 2 hours. It was so good. It was so good, man.
Yeah, you were talking about them adding new stuff into the fight, which was, kind of not what they ever said that Ultimate was going to be. UCOB was so heavily reused. All the assets, except for a few things, were all taken directly from Coil. Uwu moved away from that a little bit, right, where they had a lot of new particles for things, a couple of new abilities, and really mixed it up and created some new stuff. And they've just gone even further from that now. They've really gone away from the whole, this is all just reused content and low effort to high reward. And they've just clearly put a ton of time and work into this Ultimate now. And it shows. It's paid off big time.
I see Q. I'm muting.
No, just that. No. I mean, yeah. I think, I really like that. Like Sfia said, UCOB was a lot of reusing of assets, and like here, Perfect Alexander. Actually, for me, like I didn't look up the data mines or spoilers or anything. So when I first saw that, I was just like, wow.
So you didn't actually see the model that was out already for Perfect Alexander?
I didn't. I tried not to look any of that stuff up, actually.
It's really hard not to see that stuff. It's very hard to not see it.
The first time he transformed into the Perfect Alexander, I lost my shit as well. I was like, wow. I kind of wonder whether, Yoshida, it's already official. They said it, right? They make this Ultimate content also. You don't have to really do it. You can also watch streamers do it. You kind of can get into the groove like, wow, we can experience this together. Like, when they do the cinematic, that cutscene of the transformation, totally new. It's not like when Ultima rip out, take the primals. We see that in the level 46 story quest already, right?
Mhm.
When we see the Golden Bahamut, we already see when we saw Phoenix and stuff, we already see the flames of truth already. So kind of relatable. But the Alexander one is totally new. The fact that they put in time to make that cutscene / cinematic, and then they make something new like the calibration. Like, I feel like if you are just a viewer, I think that will shock you as well. I think that will blow your mind as well. Seeing the first time, seeing it second time, it's an incredible, man. Like Sfia said, it shows that they now take Ultima very seriously, and with the UCOP and U, it shows that they also want the content to withstand the test of time. So it's like, oh, brilliant, man. Now I want 3 Ultimate in this expansion. I know we guarantee 2. I know that the third one is still in the end. I hope we get 3 now, man. It's just so good, man. Shadowbringer, and then this.
Well, I mean, it really comes into the situation of they're making content and they can only release so much content per expansion, right? They can't just release gigatons of content, and they have to develop that content too. People just can't absorb all of that at the same time. Alexander's definitely one that most people are going to spend the entire patch trying to clear if they are going for it. And I think I'm going to fall into that category too. And so, like, if we do this, now we don't get the arsenal anymore, right? We probably won't see that if we get 3 of those. Maybe they would have to put it on a different patch with some other content that's coming out.
They're very different pieces of content.
They
are.
I
don't really think that they clash, because the teams designing them are surely very different. You'd assume. In terms of how many ultimates we get, though,
time-wise, like players playing and doing the content. I mean, Arsenal, it was a very excessive piece of content, because you had, if you consider having to do all the leveling up to get to it, it took a lot of time. So I don't know. I do want to take a second and kind of diverge and just kind of do a little bit of focus on MOOF and kind of your whole experience with doing this, because you guys have been racing for a while, right?
Yeah, we've been racing off stream we started racing seriously in Sigmascape, as like half of the team here is from that Sigmascape team. Vi can give some details about it.
Yeah, give as much details as you want. Go 6.
All right. Well, yeah, back then we were in Hongbao. We were trying seriously to compete for World First, and we did that for up until Alphascape, I think. And MOOF is pretty much comprised of a lot of, I'd say, very experienced players on Tomberry. We've all played together quite a lot. And we've all had our fair share of hardcore play, so...
Yeah. I mean, I remember seeing the name a lot and seeing it on the spreadsheet and everything else. And it was always really interesting because you guys were one of the Oceanic teams out there, the SEA teams that were going out and competing at a very high level, which we don't see too often. So that's why I always had an eye seeing your name come up. I'm like, yeah, fucking great. We were talking about that on the show. Sfia didn't attend with Harry and Arthars when we were doing the Australian New Zealand show, but you guys, there were so many good players that were in that area, but you guys are always registered under the JP region because you have to play on JP data centers. If you guys want it, I could change the region, but you guys are okay just being under a JP region for it?
Yeah, it's fine.
But everybody knows. If it's Tomberry, everybody knows it's Oceanic, so yeah.
That or Kojada, right?
Kojada's, the raid scene isn't as developed, I think, as Tomberry. Tomberry has a lot of experienced raiders. Most of MOOF is like really old school, like ARR players. I think the only new player in MOOF is Stal. I think she can offer a different perspective because she started playing quite a lot later.
When did you start playing, Stal?
My first tier that I've cleared without Echo was Deltascape.
Oh, you started that late?
Wow.
I did clear Creator, but I cleared it with Echo. So technically, I started in Deltascape.
Okay, so that's the first time you were actually doing a normal raid where you're like, okay, we're gonna clear it before the next patch comes out.
Yeah, kind of. And then I just got dragged into UCOP for some reason. I didn't
Oh, I
even
didn't know. I didn't know you start so late. I started playing with her in Sigma.
Yeah.
Wow, so she just started playing. I didn't know that.
And yeah, my first HC experience was in Alphascape when Q brought me in. Yeah.
Okay.
So these guys all actually were hardcore back when I was on Tonberry, before I was hardcore. So they've been around forever. And funnily enough,
Oh god.
I applied to Q's FC to try and get my first hardcore team, and he rejected me.
Wow! What?
Yeah.
Yo, Sfia, preach now, right now.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, that was.
He put me on a striking dummy for 3 minutes in front of his FC house, and I was a black mage, and I got no procs and no good mana ticks, and he's like, "No, sorry, mate, you don't do enough damage. Come back next time."
This is all Q's fault.
Oh my god! No.
I can confirm this story.
I didn't know this. It's very interesting.
Oh, this must be very awkward. This turned out to be a very awkward show now.
I'm glad we brought that up.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Do you want to start talking some shit right now, Sfia, or something?
No, of course I wouldn't. I got a lot of respect for these guys. I wouldn't talk shit.
Okay. What were you saying, Q, sir?
Yeah, it was a different era back then. I don't think anyone really knew what we were doing in terms of raiding and stuff.
Okay.
It's like
Wow. Now I feel so bad. You know. Okay, I'm not sure how serious they are. Just putting it out. Before this Alexander, right? Crystal actually asked me, "Hey, Arthars, do you have a group? Do you want to join us? We need a tank suddenly." Wow, you guys asked me and you guys reject Sfia. I can never take that offer. Woo, luckily, I didn't take it. Holy shit, man. Luckily, I didn't take it.
Hey,
wow.
Luckily, you
These
went
guys are cutthroat, man.
Yeah, jeez. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Before my time, 2.1 or something.
yeah, it was.
It was before you started raiding with me, Vi, and Final Coil. Yeah.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
way back in the day.
Let's clarify this for chat. How well do you guys all, Arthars, how well do you know everyone on the show right now?
Oh, I play with Crystal. We don't play a lot, but every time I'm on Tonberry, we see one another, we talk about the game. We kind of talk a lot. Like Qoya, I play with him a few times. Whenever I'm on Tonberry, when we trap or when I need help clearing, these are the people I always say. 6, I need to know his in-game name for me to find out. Otherwise, yeah, quite new to me. Sfia, obviously, we done a lot. We even do UU together, right? I saw I haven't seen a caster play so well, so galaxy brain. So I still remember the part during UU intermission. I saw him taking out Titan. Man, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I'm trying to bait for Ruin 4.
That was a meme. It was like a 30 potency increase just for spinning your chicken nugget in the intermission.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, crazy. I watched his stream a few times, but that one time, there are some players that you play with, he just stroke you as they are really good players. Zev is one of them. Zev is crazy. Sfia, one of them. Crystal, but everybody can do but. I always make fun of. I always make fun of her when I say that. I don't mean it. Obviously, she's an extremely very good player. Qoya a few times. Yeah, I kind of play with them every now and then, and sometimes we hang around in chat here and there. So yeah, kind of know these people quite well. Yeah.
And Sfia, you were rejected by Q. And, I got you.
I actually have a lot of history with almost everyone in this chat right now. I've played a lot of games with Arthars. I've probably played more PUBG than I have Final Fantasy with him. Back in the day.
Yeah.
I raided with Vi and Final Coil. I raided with Stal and I think Sigma? Or was it
I think it was
Delta?
Creator and
Probably,
Delta.
yeah, it might have been Creator actually. Yeah, this was way back as well. And I'm in Q's FC on my alt on Tonberry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. I heard Stal got kicked from her static in Creator.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay. Now you guys are a little bit more familiar with how everybody's related a little bit here. It's not like we're just a whole bunch of random people getting together and talking. I have the least history with everybody right now. You guys are all way more familiar with each other than I am with you guys. Except for Arthars coming on. I probably talked or listened to him talk on my show more than anyone else. But that being said, MOOF, the other thing that I do want to ask is, do you feel like you guys are going to continue every single tier racing? Is there any reason why you might stop?
Well,
Depends what you define racing as.
yeah,
Okay.
actually, this tier this tier we've been trying to race since Sigmascape, and we didn't get any top threes. So, this tier we decided, we're not gonna race. We're just gonna stream our prog, and I guess it worked out for us.
Yeah. I do want to talk about this a little bit too, because this is something that's Arthas and I have argued about quite a bit, is racing as a term at all with the world race, and how we present it. And because the idea of me and this whole document is just to track information and say, all right, people have cleared at this point and this point. And after a while, the term race just started getting thrown in there because everybody's just trying to clear it pretty quick. And then it came to the point of people going in Arthas chat saying, "Oh, you guys, you're sucking. You're racing, but you're not winning." When it was more of he's always his teams do pretty well and always hit kind of higher on the list, even though he's not really racing. But people start comparing him, right? And now Arthas gets triggered and goes crazy, and he starts screaming at me to change the name from World Race because he doesn't want to race anymore.
I think I understand how he feels. Like, if you say you're racing, it adds a lot of pressure to do well, to win, because you're racing, right? And I think for my team this tier, the fact that we weren't racing we weren't planning to race, actually helped us a lot, in that it reduced the pressure on us. Because I remember back in Ultima, we made a lot of decisions that were not good, because we felt the pressure to raid more, to that we were in the race, basically, instead of maybe we did a 22-hour day before we ended up just saying, "Oh, we're gonna go to sleep," and we cleared it the next day. But if we were not under the pressure to race, we would have just called it earlier and not have gone crazy that day.
Okay. I mean, that actually, it seems like a lot of people who are out there racing just don't, it's hard to keep that healthy mindset, right? And I think TPS, you guys probably perfected almost having a healthy mindset while competing, however you guys managed to do it. But I mean, it does lead into this whole, oh, we're behind, well, we're struggling, oh, fuck, kind of situation. But I don't know. It makes it so much more exciting to just say, hey, let's see how everybody's doing in the race, than it does hey, let's see how everybody's doing in their prog. It's weird. I don't really care either way, because I don't make shit for doing this. It's just my own personal interest. Arthas, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay, you guys, all of us been to school, right? Obviously, right? So when you go to school, right? When you go to school and you just want to get by the results, 1 or 2 times you happen to do well, and then one of your friends start to say, "Wow, you are doing really good. Maybe you can get top in class." It never crossed your mind, right? Wait, what? I'm just trying to do well, just want to finish and then go home and play my Nintendo 64, my Mario 64, right? Never crossed your mind, right? But then people start talking about, oh, this guy, scored this high in mathematics. Maybe he's the best mathematic geek in. Why suddenly now I'm in the score? Don't drag me into this, right? That's how I feel right now. Don't get me wrong. If I have the chance to be in a race group, I would do my best and I will go for it. But because this current pro group, I told you earlier in the show, this is not even my static. This is just half my static, getting other half people to do. I don't even know half of these people. I never even played with half of these people. And those people that we have, I even know some of them. For example, I hope these don't make it to the JP forum. The Monk, for example, the Monk and the White Mage. They were in my static helping out. I played them. I know how good they are. So if you want to say that I'm racing, I personally would feel a little bit unjustified, dude. I know how bad people, if I really want to race, this isn't the group I will be in. No disrespect. They are still very good players, and I think we still did pretty well. But you know it yourself, right? Which team you're surrounding, how can you raise? So the moment I got into this team, I just knew it was not in the picture. If this is my static, if this is the group that I run with, I would say maybe if they want to, I can call that a race group. I wouldn't mind. But this current group, these current people, half the unknown, and then the known, and I know their skill level. I just know we can't call it. And my leader also agreed, like, yeah, this is just a one-time prop, right? After that, we're going to go back to our stag and reprog like today. Yeah, makes sense. That's why we didn't have a team name this time. I don't even know where you get the Taka Pasu.
You said it in stream. You said it on stream.
I was joking, dude. You really put it as Taka Pasu.
You said that you were discussing it, and if you had to make a name, it would be that name. I said, all right, cool, on the list, done. And so I do also want to give it, so from now on, I am going to be calling it just a World Prog sheet. I'm not going to be calling it a World Race. There is a World Race going on, but that list is just signifying who clears when they clear. There are people actually out there racing, and they can send me their names, and I can put them on there, as long as it doesn't say anything too horrible that I can't put publicly. And I gotta say, that sucks, having to Google Translate things and then just understand culture and like Japan and stuff if something's wrong in the way that a name is. So I will find someone who's more familiar with it, and I will send it to them and be like, wait a day or two. Oh, yeah, no, you probably shouldn't say that. That's racist. I was like, okay, not putting it on there. But it was really weird seeing how many teams actually submitted names, and they weren't JP, they weren't NA, and they weren't EU. They were Korean, and they were Chinese, and they were, again, Oceanic. And it's... You know, that felt really weird to me, just the fact that this now is a situation where everyone's trying to clear it as fast as possible, and they're all kind of watching this shitty Google Doc I put together from all over the world. It's a little interesting to see that. And I just didn't know there were people out there, like that many people out there in China that were racing, or in Korea, but I guess they're not playing on their version of the game. They're VPNing and playing on JP servers, which is cool to see. And I don't know. It's weird. It's been a wild ride. I've been only doing this for how long? Creator.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, that's still, 3 years? So.
Yeah, I guess, 3 years. But it's just strange to me. Anyways, I don't know. Sorry, went on a small tangent here. I want to get back to MOOF a little bit more. Go ahead.
I think, like, even in our team, like, perspective of whether we're racing or not, or like what the group is meant to be, is pretty different. Like, you could, like, Stal, I think she has a pretty different view on like what she wants to get out of raiding.
Okay.
I just do my best.
FFLogs.
Nah.
Okay.
I just don't want to let my team down. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
I gotcha. I think that's everybody though, right? No one wants to let their team down. And it sucks kidding, because this is one of the questions we had on the last show, was like, what do you do when that dread starts to like take over you, that you're the person that's, you know, putting everyone behind, and then having to make that not affect your gameplay and still bring everybody behind, right? Do you guys ever run into that issue, MOOF, with, you know, somebody's doing really bad and they just keep doing worse because they have pressure, or is it more that you guys were more laid back and so that pressure never existed?
I wouldn't say it didn't exist, but I think the less intense environment did help with it. Yeah, I made a lot of really dumb mistakes this prog. Oh god. Yeah.
A lot of people have. This has been like the king fight for making people make stupid mistakes.
I mean, I hope it's not going to take too much time. I can just tell some of the things I did.
You guys can take as much time as you want. Go ahead. You're not Arthars. I don't have to limit you.
There was the time we entered the transition to Alexander, and we were supposed to pot, but I used LB instead, and so we couldn't build LB in time for the transition because I used it in. Oh god,
dude, that happens to me before in OO as well. My LB button is beside the pot button, and then you just flinch, and then when you pot, and then for 5-10 seconds you cannot press anything else, and then you're like, ah! I know how you feel. Oh my god.
You know what's funny? Like, I used to doing PvP, like, I changed my hotkeys up, and some weird combination of hotkeys managed to do an LB. And multiple times, like when we were raiding, I think it was in the first tier of Omega, Delta Escape. We'd go through and we're going, and all of a sudden, Tank LB1 just goes off in the middle of the fucking fight, and everybody's like, "All right, well, I guess we wipe now." I don't know what we're supposed to do. Jesus! But no, we've been there. Go ahead, Q.
Yeah. I think one thing though is like my paladin mentioned to me that he felt that there was a lot of pressure on him because of the streaming thing that we were doing. Like he messed up wormhole once, and then suddenly he got really tense about it. We found out later, like, you know, every time we entered wormhole, he'd mute his mic and take deep breaths and try to get.
That's actually an unspoken negative to streaming, that community can be absolute bullies. And if someone makes a mistake, all of a sudden they're just like target number one, and you just see, oh, this person sucks, replace this person. And sometimes it's memes, but it can be taken to heart by a lot of people. So that's just another thing to consider when you do stream, that some people perform very poorly on stream because of that, and the pressure that creates.
Now you guys finally know why. Now you guys finally know why when it comes to prop, except for Eden was an experiment. Now you guys know why for the past 5 years, I always only join JP groups. Whether it's UCOP, UWU, this is why. Because when I shit on them on stream, they don't understand. And when Twitch chat join in, they don't understand. They can't take it to heart on things they don't know. I mean, for me, real talk.
Okay.
Real talk. I know the personality I am, right? Like sometimes you make a mistake, I will like, oh, why? Yell at you, right? And then Twitch chat will join in. And I also know Twitch chats, like Sfia says, sometimes could be memeing, sometimes could really take it seriously. But I feel if I can draw the line, of course, the JP needs to know I'm streaming, like it's an agreement, but they don't understand. They're not going to watch me, right? They're going to watch Nico. They're not going to watch me. And I can kind of like get away by shitting them. And then Twitch chat can get away as well by shitting them. That's why I prefer to, not because I don't want to, raid with Australians, Singaporeans, or NAs to a certain extent until Eden. I want to keep it that way so that we don't get into this conflict if they know.
Yeah. Artists, they know. They know now. I mean,
they know.
Yeah, they know. It used to be maybe you could get away with it, but you have all your clips posted on so many JP blogs right now that I am certain that everybody knows you've been shitting on them completely in raid.
But the culture is different now. Back then, if I do that straight up, people would just say blacklist this guy. Now it's different. Now when I read the forum, right, it's different. They always say, how come all these, not just my stream, by the way, how come all these NA or outsider, when they stream, they use the F word so much? It's so And then now you start to see some JPs come out and say, you can't blame them. The F word for them is like, for us, when we say yabai, yabai is like, oh, this is really bad, They also use it like that. So now they say, if you actually translate the F word to this word, it's the same. To us, it's the same. It's just that they use it more often. Sometimes, there was one JP that wrote this thing out, right? JP said, I have seen French people or /NA, they would be progging and then use the F word, use words and beat the guy down to the ground, shit talk him, and then the next day they will be out there enjoying meals together. I don't understand. The JP say that. I'm like, yeah, this is a culture difference, But some of the JPs are starting to understand that we have a different culture when it comes to rating or the words that we use. So it's interesting because back then, straight up, if I behave what I am now straight up, they would just hate me. Now I actually have people like, oh, I like it. I think it's entertainment value. I think it's different. I think that it's quite real. At the same time, it's funny to see you sometimes shit on JP. I think the culture is shifting a little bit. They kind of like understand what we are doing. So now I think I can get away with a little bit. Back then, no. Back then, no.
Okay.
Back then, it's just big no. Yeah.
I will say, I see 3 teacups down at the bottom and Arthas in the middle drinking out of his cup. I feel like we all need to get cups here and just drink out of it. But no, I feel like this whole situation where we all get together and try to clear this content really quickly has globalized the fuck out of most of us. Like, we're more aware of differences in culture and everything else, and everybody else is kind of changing and becoming a little bit less crazy and insane about things. Or at least that's what I feel like, but I don't know. This is my only global interaction as the World Race, and having people from Singapore and Australia on my show and New Zealand on my show, right? Do you guys feel like this is Final Fantasy 14 in general right now seems like it's really connecting a lot of different communities out there, because WoW doesn't do this, right? Because you're pretty much on your own.
Surprised. I'm so surprised. The Korean and the China, they actually. I'm not sure whether it was troublesome. They found a way to actually play on the retail version, the most our version, and they're also like taking part in the race. Like they couldn't wait. I speak to some Korean. They couldn't wait. They want to do it, Alexander. They want to do it now. They don't want to wait one more patch. I find it fascinating because now, like you said, people also sign up to the race. They also put their name into the shit. It's amazing, man. It's good to see everybody go together. I got China, like you said earlier in the show, China people actually messaged me, so, oh, we wanted to watch it so bad, but because of the firewall, some of us use VPN can. Some of them ask whether they can host my stream or host Crystal's stream on their stream so that they can proxy and watch it. I'm like, wow, that's amazing, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, most China people don't do that, but they've been cool about that, and I'm like, wow, that's nice. That's really nice. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kim.
It's okay. It's like in on Tonbury, there's been like a growing Korean presence. Like there's Korean only FCs. Stal actually did Ultimate Uwu with a Korean static.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tell me a little bit about that experience, Stal.
I didn't understand a word they were saying at all. That was so difficult. So all I did was just follow strats, and we had someone that would translate it for me, but it was so difficult because they did all their callouts in Korean, so I couldn't understand anything. I just had to watch their cast bar and see like, oh, when are they using Atlo? When are they using this? It was so difficult.
That's actually that's like training for doing this race, right? For doing Prague, yeah.
They're really nice people though. It's just that I was really shy to ask anything, so I just looked up their logs and like whatever they were doing instead of asking them straight up.
So instead of just asking them and trying to figure out that communication, everything, you would just go and start looking at their logs. All right, so I'm starting to get this like this image of Stal like constantly just looking at logs and FFLogs and analyzing everything throughout the show so far. That's like a constant theme that we're going back to, which is really weird because she sounds super timid, which is not the average like person who does that. But all right. Let's see. Sorry, I haven't looked at the document once during the show, so I don't know how much we even like went over any of this here. Yeah, I'm all over the place here. Let me see if I can find a good spot. We were talking a little bit about, because we didn't talk about the last phase at all on the last show because that didn't make any sense. People weren't really there. Going into the last phase, there's only really let's just take the opportunity to try to go into that a little bit. There's only a couple of real big mechanics, right? You have the fate calibration, and then you have the enrage at the end. Is there anything else like super notable about that last phase?
I think the extra flare. They did the triangle extra flare. I think they add a nice touch. Instead of just doing your own shit, you have to somehow get to the right spot because of the big damage coming in. Right? I thought that's fine. Yeah, I thought that's something different a little bit at least.
Sorry, carry on.
No, it's like a big pressure check at the end. It's not difficult.
It's a victory lap.
Yeah, it's a victory lap, but it's also a direct step up from what UCOG's victory lap was, where it's harder to dodge than Xflare was, and you also need to do it together as a team. So it virtually just combines Mornafar and Xflare at the same time.
Okay.
Way better. I think this final phase is way better than the other two, for sure.
Every phase
this feels so much better.
I do... How much trouble did you guys all have with people moving in the last phase when they shouldn't have moved?
You mean stillness?
Yeah.
Wasn't that bad for us? I don't think.
A few, one or two times. Yeah.
I think we
spam
played
escape, man.
Really safe.
You played it safe?
Because like we didn't like the first clean enrage we had was the kill, so we weren't really pushing that hard. I mean, we were pushing hard, but like we weren't going into the really greedy territory yet. So we were playing it safe for the motion and the stillness.
Like, I will watch streams and lots of streams that are progging on it right now, and I'm like, okay, they got into Perfect Alexander. They just got to do Fate Calibration and it's good. All right, they're at this one mechanic where they just need to move or not move. Then 1 or 2 people die, and it's like, okay, well, that's over. You know, they all know they can't clear it. Like when that happens, it's very difficult to make the DPS check as soon as someone dies, usually. I mean, you can people are saying, oh, with a tank death or with like maybe a healer death or something, you could kind of make it work, but past that, you can't really make it work, right?
I think maybe you could make it work if you were Sphere's group.
It's not that tight. We had a tank death and we were still like 23 seconds ahead of Enrage, so there's a lot of leeway.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, my monk walked into the wall on the very first mechanic. He got the escape, the black debuff. He stand wrong. The very first one, by the way, he walked into the wall. Okay? So, and then we get a freaking smooth shot. We got 1% enrage because of that. He walked into the wall at the beginning, 1% enrage.
Yeah.
We were like, yo, dude, you could have died in any... Dude, that's the opener. You could have died at any other place. I think we would have cleared it. You walk into the wall at the beginning of the fight. I feel so bad. I mean, I'm angry, but at the same time, I feel so bad because I think he got hit really hard. That's where it started going downhill. I think, okay, you guys should take a rest. But yeah, I think if I think about it like that, the DPS check is not that bad. It's just fate calibration. Before you get used to it, that's where you lose the DPS because you have to look at your shadow, you have to look at your clone. And then also for the extra flare, when you move, you need to pay attention. So I think people maybe don't do proper rotation there. But once, you get 1 or 2 or 3 times clean there, I think the DPS will sort out by itself. Whereas I think the DPS check, I think is tighter. Okay. I think the DPS check is tighter.
I agree.
In
way tighter.
In 370, I think it is. You're right.
Okay. So I'm going to say this because I've seen the mechanic multiple times so far, and while I'm watching all these mechanics, I see it over and over again, but I don't really know how to execute these things properly. I just see people do it, and I make assumptions of what they're doing and everything. So when I see Fate Calibration happen, and I see you following your shadow, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now, I'm stupid. So I can kind of make sense of, okay, you're following it, and then you die, but it's telling you what mechanic you're about to get, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see what mechanic you're going to get. How do you know where to be safe at? You just have like an assumption of, okay, you see where they jump, and then you have to end up in that little safe circle, that little center of the donut, or sorry?
I'm actually going to do a video on Fate Calibration Alpha and Beta today.
Okay.
Sneaky plug.
Okay.
But essentially, he shows you all the mechanics he's about to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all the mechanics are very obvious in terms of like visually where the safe spots are. So in the first one, he does 3 sacraments, and you can literally see in front and opposite of one of the Alexanders that doesn't use a sacrament, are very clear safe spots. So you do the mechanics in alpha there.
Mm-hmm.
In beta, you can see where one jumps to and does a radiant sacrament. So that's where your safe spot's going to be. It really spells out how to play the phase out for you. You just then have to go and do it. But it's important that you have the codex so you can see how to do it.
Right.
It's really something that people probably think quite a lot about. I see all these flash explosions and shit, but I mean, alpha, you get 1 mechanic each.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much the same with beta. You just get the one forced walk mechanic, and then the safe spot in the stack. Like, it's
okay.
You don't really need to pay attention to too many things.
You just pay attention to what your shadow's doing, basically, right?
Yeah, once you're used to it, you don't even need to be paying attention the whole time. You just need to know when to look.
Okay. We'll see when I get there in a couple of months. But okay, so that whole last phase, the Fate Calibration, that was the thing, revealing all that stuff. That was the big secret, but there's not really too much to talk about except for us being impressed with it. Seeing that Enrage at the end. The Enrage was kind of strange just because, like, it happens, then it just stops. Right?
I think it's really jarring. I think it's really cool.
It is.
It
Really cool.
It doesn't like blow you up like Uru does, and it doesn't like blast you with a huge AoE like UCOB does. It just stops you, and I think that's even like better in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it's more immersive, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, you're
super cool.
You're basically just being stuck in time forever. That's the idea of the Enrage, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's winding you back or he's just literally freezing you there. I think it could
send
be
you
one
back
of
to
those.
living liquid, right? Yeah, maybe send you back to living liquid. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you can actually move your camera around and see all the little particle effects and everything frozen on the screen and all that other stuff, right? So, and again, artistically wonderful done fight, and I hope Square Enix takes this as part of what they're going to do in the future too. I don't want them. I mean, just stay within the ultimates they have right now. Don't make it easier than any of the ultimates that are out. But maybe not make it any harder either than the ones that are out. I feel like
I was really surprised they can still keep up the how good the player has become, how the game has changed, how they are, they cut like you said, maybe they can't rise the bar yet. Maybe it's not the time yet. But if you were to retain the difficulty, we players are stronger. We're gonna get better teams. We're gonna be more galaxy brain. We're gonna be more big brain. But they managed to still keep it unique, special in all sense, right? Mechanics, cinematics, everything, right? They can still put it together like that. Oh, I feel so much more. It's been so long. It's been 1.5 years. You would think they will lose it already, but they still keep it up. I can't wait for the next one. And every time I say that, what can the next one be? This Alexander just shocked me. So what is going to be the next one? We keep saying they can't raise the bar. They just did. What is going to be the next one?
Q, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's true that the ultimates, this is probably, in terms of execution, this is quite difficult compared to previous ultimates, and the pace of the mechanics is very high. I think, but the player base is getting better at it. I'm just kind of curious what you guys think. Is it difficult for new players to get an ultimate because the standard keeps going up?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think they hit where they need to hit. I don't think it needs to get harder. I don't think it needs to get more difficult. I don't think it needs to get easier either. I feel like just new players coming into the content right now, people who are experienced aren't going to be able to clear this. And I'm talking about players who are relatively good at the game and they can clear Savage within a month or so. They may not be able to clear it because they just can't get a group there that can coordinate properly and make get the clear in the end. So I think if they make it any harder than this, even if players get better, it's going to be an impossible wall for new players that want to get into the raid scene for quite a while. I don't know. I don't know how much better can players really get at this point, right?
There's always room to improve in this game. Always.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's been proven. Everyone thought that End of Final Coil was as good as the game was going to get in terms of player skill, and we've just been proven wrong over and over again. People keep getting better, and they're having to make content that adjusts for that. People are really, really good now.
Yeah, but
I'm just wondering, right? Can they make it harder? Because I didn't know it's possible until you called. So now obviously we got 3 already. Can they make it harder? When will they push the button to make it harder? Same for Savage. Now that we got this big gap, right? We got this space, right, between Savage and Ultimate, right? Will they tap into that? I'm more curious about that. Will they tap into that? Will Savage go into that? Will Ultimate go further? And then will they feel something in between? Will we get another content that is in between? Or they will make Savage harder? That's the most I'm curious, because like everyone agrees, player skills are getting better. Patch after patch. Also, the way they do the battle system can also even reinforce that. Easier, players better, even better, right? Are they going to fill that gap? Are they going to find a new space after Ultimate? Will we see it?
No.
Yeah.
No. Guys, if you ever go into PF, dude, it's Arthars, you go into PF all the time. It's a nightmare out there sometimes. It just is.
I think the Savage can be a notch higher though. I think.
Maybe, but when you have to go and you get Leviathan and you take 10 hours to get a Leviathan clear on people who have already cleared the content before.
I agree. Okay, I agree with that. I agree.
It's rough. It's rough, man. I don't know.
I think it's got to start at the mandatory things like MSQ quests being harder so that people are encouraged to actually learn how to play the game, and then you build up from there. The baseline is, I think, a little bit lower in terms of player skill, but that's, I think, the way that you should address in terms of bringing up the overall player skill.
My dog
not
thinks
necessarily
the same
going
thing.
in and not necessarily going in and tuning up Savage, because that will be too divisive,
Yeah.
I guess. You either can or you can't at that point. Everyone can do MSQ. Everyone has to.
No, that's true.
I
Stal.
think they do need some
Go ahead,
way
Q.
of like improving the player's skills. Like this particular ultimate involves a lot of player skills, which I don't think players typically have these days. Like you start living liquid with the DPS control phase, and that's extremely hard for some people to do. You fucking kill the doll, or you don't do enough to it, and that's going to be a pain in the ass for a lot of groups. And I was saying before about the positional discipline, people don't have that. Like you don't really need it. On Titan, you can stand anywhere in your square. You don't have to be so accurate with what you're doing, and like prolonged periods of focus as well. Like players don't have this ability. So how do you sort of train this ability?
No, and
that's really the question.
You would have to put it in lower content where it's less punishing, but you still have to do it because there's situations in extreme. For example, Hades, you just stand in the middle during when all the shit's coming down. All right, it's not big enough for you to actually move around and do anything. But if they made it to where you had to die, you would die if you got hit 2 times or something, or I don't know. They tried to make it to where you had to put a little bit more effort into these fights. I think it could raise that skill level, but I don't know. Q, I see it. I see it. Unmute it.
No. I just want to hear what Stal thinks about it.
I do too. And we need Stal. Can you give us your opinion?
I just think that if I didn't do the previous ultimates, I would have a really, really, really hard time for this one. Because previous ultimates definitely did train me in terms of like mechanics wise and also for positional discipline because of phases like nail, where even the range has to be really close. And I think if I never did that, never cleared that, I probably would get kicked from this group.
Wait a minute.
Well, Q has kicked some people or like not approved a few people, right? And so he's made some mistakes.
It turned out well for them in the long run. Seconds.
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
No, it's
pretty
huge.
well for you too.
That's true. This is true.
Oh my god. All right. Well, I guess the other thing to talk about is I do enjoy how Alexander has made it to where you need to execute mechanics and not just be a straight DPS check, right? Yagdalls is my favorite part. Everyone disagrees completely. Not everyone. I would say a lot of raiders thinks that's the worst part of the fight. Yagdalls. What do you guys feel about Yagdalls? Good. Okay.
Yeah. Control DPS is a skill.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Just the crit, man. It's just the crits, man. It's just the crits.
It's just the full thrust, man.
Oh my god, yeah. I saw it today. 50%, the full thrust just destroyed it. I'm like,
that's controlling your DPS. That's what it is. You can't.
Piercing talent. Piercing talent
again. Yeah. Stop greeding out. Play like the mechanic demands you play instead of caring about your past. God damn it.
I just break my combo and do a true thrust instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
And so that's the thing, though. I mean, they're starting to put in these mechanics that make us have to do things differently than max DPS rotations, and I think that's good, right? I think that's something that we should be trying to look at is how do you make a fight more interesting other than just DPS checks, and that does it. But people don't want that because we've transferred into this FFLogs culture, and now people are fighting to stay in it instead of get out of it. It almost feels like.
I want to say, like, I feel the player base, since FFLogs is becoming more and more popular, the player base has changed, and there's a lot more focus on damage over mechanics, and it's actually difficult for World Pro groups to recruit because most players, they only think about damage, and it's really hard to find players who also think as much about mechanics as doing the damage.
Yeah.
Agree. Because I think it's easier for the developers because they just have to work around maximum item level. So they can bring it down at the same time at an okay level that you don't have to greed so much, you don't have to pet so much, you don't have to do your utmost best, but the mechanics itself restrain you from that, and the mechanics itself take care of the difficulty rather than just DPS. Whereas I think a lot of people who do ultimate, they understand this is not the fight. We need to be doing crazy DPS. Now, a lot of these savage players, a lot of these new players, a lot of these new FFLogs players, when they see the logs, they do the damage. They come into savage, the ultimate, I guarantee you they're going to have a little bit of hard time adjusting. Like, wait a second, this is not what I usually told to do, has been doing. And I think that alone can split up a little bit. Like we all know like the World First team, Sfia's group, World First team, they all can do crazy DPS, but how many people, some people can maybe, get away padding or whatever and get to their numbers in terms of on FFLogs. How many of them can come together and make wormhole so easy? Or not so easy, make wormhole so much quicker.
More consistent. Yeah, more consistent.
Right? It's a different skill. I think in Ultimate, it's a different skill. I think for a lot of us that do Ultimate, we understand that. Whereas, like Q just said, those FFLogs only players, they don't get it. They don't get it. They need to get spanked.
There's no FFLogs for like succeeding mechanics. So like, how do you measure such a thing?
It doesn't. See, that's the thing. You don't have to always measure players like that, right? You don't have to put them on a top ranking for executing mechanics. And but right now, because there is a leaderboard for doing numbers, because that's our only metric to follow, people are so obsessed with being on that leaderboard. But good players aren't going to be always on a leaderboard, and it's so hard to explain that to people who depend on showing other people they're good, because, hey, look, I'm number 1 at hitting my rotation, right? And not dying on the billionth time that we did a fight.
Yeah, FFLogs is a useful tool, but it's not the be-all and end-all of what you are as a raider. It is... You remember Phantom came on the show last week and told what he thinks makes a good prog raider. The third thing he said was how much damage you do. The other things come first. Yeah.
Consistency is huge. It's absolutely huge. And it's hard to find that, because so many people who, again, value themselves as good players just redo it. Oh, well, we messed up a mechanic. Jump.
Yep.
Jump. It's not a good parse. Why do I even care? It's not part of my wheelhouse anymore.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. And so I want to see that develop, and I want to see more. Like, my favorite thing so far that Square Enix has been doing is introducing damage down mechanics, and so you do less damage if you mess up mechanics. So we saw that a lot, like in Titan, right? And so people who are not paying attention and screwing that stuff up, they get punished in the way that they feel. And I hope we see that a lot more.
It's actually quite funny how there was this huge sort of cultural shift, and I think it was Aria Evenfalls who put it the best. Back when content was difficult, right? Back in the Gordius Midas days, when Savages were really hard to clear and prog took a long time, everyone was like an armchair progger, right? Everyone had their opinions on Reddit and Twitch and stuff of how you should be doing prog. But the game's kind of been dumbed down. It's really easy to do damage now, and everyone's just an armchair speed killer. Even if they don't play the game, everyone knows the best about doing damage, and the whole entire mentality has shifted away from what it was back then to just doing damage now. And that's all anyone cares about. It's really obvious to see when you look at things like Reddit and you look at things like the balance, you look at things like Twitch chat. It's just, I think, so backwards.
All right. We've been going for almost 2 hours now. I didn't even know that. Well, I guess we started about 10 minutes late, so maybe an hour and a half here. We went over a lot of these things. I think one of the things that we didn't really go over is limit cut, and
God,
how this was, one of the huge additions to this fight. And so I do want to ask you, before we get into viewer questions and everything, Arthas, you know what? Let's Arthas, you'll come on the tail end here. Let's ask MOOF here, and I'm going to ask Stal what your feelings are on limit cut.
Oh boy. When I saw it in Wormhole, oh god. No, not this.
Did you file a report?
Mechanics. Sorry? I know.
Okay.
Oh, I was so devastated.
I think a lot of people were, because no one expected limit cut to cause this much trouble, because it was such a simple mechanic before, right? And then you just throw it in on top of everything. Q, do you have any thoughts on that?
I can't believe how much limit cut there is in this fight.
It's two.
It's just
There's
two.
only two.
There's two.
It's not much.
No, it's not two. It's two, but with 8 combination. It's not just two. No. Ooh.
Okay,
It changed the whole dynamic, man. It changed the whole dynamic.
I'm gonna ask V real quick, and then we'll go to Arthars here. V, did you work pretty hard to figure out the strategies for limit cut for your team?
I really co-helped with most of the limit cut stuff, but limit cut was alright. I didn't expect there would be so much emphasis on cruise chaser in total, to be honest. A lot of optical sites and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking we were getting more of like the robots ice skating around and stuff like that, but
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. They never came out outside of their form of brute justice, so that's it. All right, Arthas, do you have any thoughts on limit cut here you'd like to share with us? Probably not too much has already been said, right?
When I see the second time, I was so demoralized. I'm like, wow, we make. Okay, granted, Inception was done wrongly by all of us before we get to fake calibration. But when you get to Wormhole that time, right, you are like, you thought you made good progress. You don't even need to go through Wormhole. The moment you saw the marker, you knew, fuck, this is where I'm going to spend the next probably 1, 2 unknown days they're going to spend here. So I lost my shit, man. I wanted to report Yoshida for harassment, but technically, there's no in-game chat. So I had to resort to report it as a bug. I didn't really stand it though, but I think, I think it was funny. Everybody was like clipping it. Like the Chinese were like making a big fuss, a big joke out of it. The JP was enjoying it. I thought it was really funny because I don't know how else to take it. I already lost my mind already. I just try to make myself take it in a jokingly manner, to show people that I'm not going crazy. I'm actually am, but I'm trying to show in a way that, I told people that if there's another limit cut at the last phase, I'm gonna take a 3 hours break. I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna take a sleep and pretend that it never happened. Luckily it didn't, so I will forgive limit cut for that.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, dude, that was that was hard. And I think that's the biggest challenge, right? In this whole fight, the limit cut, definitely the biggest challenge. It gives me an idea though. Next year, FanFest, I'm gonna cosplay as Brute Chaser.
Oh god.
I'm gonna cut out those styrofoam boards. I'm gonna make like a red marker and a blue marker. So I'm gonna toss the blue one over Yoshida. Hey, Yoshida, be like, what the hell? I'm gonna limit cut him. And then when he's like, what the hell happened? I'm gonna throw the red one on him and I'm gonna dive him. That's my cosplay next year. Okay. I'm gonna do that.
I can see it. I can see it. You'll probably need some assistance with someone like maybe putting like a little hat on, add like a little ball at the top that's like a blue one, and but I don't know. I gotta say it was great to see it. It's crazy to see how insane it made all the other mechanics and how everyone's stressed out. I mean, this fight is literally like the difficulty is revolved around limit cut. It seems like if they took out limit cut, this fight would be a lot easier, would it? Wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Wormhole, definitely, yeah.
Limit cut is a really, really good ultimate mechanic. It's incredibly punishing, and it combines really well with other mechanics that go on at the time. It's got personal responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
dude, that guy who designed it, the timing, the execution, it's crazy, man. Like you said, it's an easy mechanic. When we first see it first time in Creator Turn 3, it's like, okay, I mean, what else could they? Wow, I can't imagine they doing anything more than that. One person die, one wrong direction. It's wow, I can't imagine them doing more than this. They just did. And they did even way more. The first time you see with optical sight, it already like, okay. And then Wormhole, the guy who designed it also is, I think he's insane, man, to perfectly put them at that particular moment. Yeah.
The thing that people were expecting, I think, was height to be what limit cut is. They were expecting height to come in and be the thing that makes all the mechanics difficult, right? They're low and up.
Error,
Height only really exists to restrict where you can stand. That's all it does.
Yeah.
And all the other mechanics in that fight already do that. So they'd be kind of doubling down on something that's already really prevalent in the fight. I don't think it would really fit too well in terms of what is already in there.
Yeah.
And I think Midas took care of it already. I think the Brute Justice Midas itself, right? I always still feel when you were doing it back then when they were relevant, I always feel the Brute Justice, the whole fight, the Midas turn for the whole fight, I feel it replicates well what an ultimate mechanic would be. Of course, it's not as intensive, but I feel high error. I feel all the robots mechanic in Midas, in Brute Justice, in that particular turn. I think they did their job already at that point. So I think they didn't need to bring it back. Yeah.
All right.
I think one addition about limit cut is what makes it difficult is that there's no one obvious solution to the mechanic. Like when mechanics have one obvious solution, then you just need to execute it. But limit cut, there's a lot of different ways you can handle it. And especially in Wormhole, there's so many different methods that you can use that you don't even know if what you're doing is going to work. And that makes it much more difficult, I think, to solve the mechanic. Like groups will start arguing about, are we doing this right? Should we change this? And oh God.
Yeah, I want to give a special shout out or to those people out there still progging it. That's what the mechanic is. It's not your fault. This is Yoshida's fault. Yoshida is creating this space for you guys to turn on one another. That's what the mechanic is. There's no such thing as you see it 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 times and you somehow just get it right. Coming up with the strat for limit cut is one of the hardest thing, I think, if you are not replicating. Even if you replicate, even if you say take the world first video or you take the MOOF video, you take the clear video of somebody else, replicating it is still gonna take time, right? Like you just say, right? It's gonna make people hate one another. It's gonna make people feel like they are better than the other. Oh, I can do all 8 already. How come you can't get on my level? Oh, it's you again. This is what the mechanics is about. It's not just execution. It's also the test of friendship and the test of teamwork, everything. It is supposed to be this way. So don't feel bad if, wow, we have been stuck for limit cut for 2 days. Wow, you guys still can't do. It is what it is.
Yeah. Nothing
personal. This is Yoshida's fault. He's trying to split us apart, Yeah.
Okay. It does seem like a static breaker. And the other thing that's really interesting about this is that they had to design this fight to be clearable. So they had to make sure that there was a way that even how these mechanics were coming out, that you had to clear it. So people were on the development team, they knew there was, I don't know what to say, how to say it properly. It looks like it's a very difficult solution, but they also had to find out what that solution would be before letting us get to it, right? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I'm impressed that they were able to do a mechanic that we could figure out that was this complicated, if that makes any sense, or this difficult to execute. But that's my shout out.
Designing limit cut would have been really hard.
Yeah, that's what it was very difficult to design that whole phase.
So many moving parts all working together. It's just a giant machine, and it's really cool. It's very well put together.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of difficulty of Wormhole for a lot of groups was like everyone's kind of looking for the brain dead strat, right? But while some strats might work for some groups, are not necessarily going to work for another group. But I kind of feel like every strat is, almost as bad as all the others, to be honest. And it's just like a matter of doing it and grinding it out.
Yeah.
And so like you get people saying like, oh, this strat's way easier, you should do this one. Like, oh no, this one's easier. And,
I want to wait until like about a month goes by where things kind of calm down a little bit and they're like, this is the ideal strat, right? And this is the one you use here, and this is the one you use here, and this is going to be the easiest one to use. Once that's figured out, I'll be a little bit more, I guess, less cautious about progging this fight. But man, it seems like it's everywhere right now. It really does. That being said, we do have questions that I would like to go ahead and point you guys to in chat if you'd like to ask questions, so we can go ahead and start working on those. And we will be doing one giveaway for a Mog Station item up to $25. Doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter if you're on a show, if you're not on a show. You guys are all applicable to getting into it, and I'll start that in just a bit. I want to do a question or two before we get into it, though. That being said, we do have one question here for MOOF, and I'm going to try to pick out as many. If you guys have questions for MOOF, please ask them now, because this, again, we have 3 of their members on the show. This is the first time they've been on the show. I'd be happy to ask as many of those questions as you guys have and you can give us. One, though, is something that you might be able to answer here. So they said, hey, Stal, how did your team figure out True Heart, and why did you go off stream for it?
Maybe queue
Wait,
up. I
she
can
did?
answer it. Yeah, we had an emergency actually. A member had to go off because of some IRL issues. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's why we went off stream.
Okay.
And after that, because even though we go off stream, usually we're still awake and we've been like planning strats, sometimes going back in for an hour or two. So when the member came back, we decided to pull, and we just started to see the vault, and at the same time, like there were leaks and everything, like people with rumors, and then we saw the fake calibration, then we saw Arthars, and that's when we figured out like, okay, something's not up. So actually, it's really thanks to like 180 and Haru Glory's group, Arthars, like all the tweets and everything, that we actually figured out what True Heart was actually about.
Mm-hmm. Because it was really the community figuring it out. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I honestly think like if we didn't show it on stream kind of when it was shown, it would have been on someone else's stream within like another couple of hours
for sure.
easily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did
And
contemplate like doing it off stream because this is such a huge advantage, but we ended up sticking through to, being a stream team and everything, which, no regrets.
Yeah.
Question. I got a small question to move as well. Do you guys think, right, at that point, right, if it's not the true heart, can you actually figure out where else? No more, right? It has to be there, right?
Yeah, when we got to Inception, all of us were just saying casually, like, this is so easy. This is not even like a savage thing. It's so out of place. But we just kind of whatever, because we saw wormhole next and we just flipped.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Because there were some weird things with the fight. For example, killing the hand doesn't do anything, right?
someone told us that killing the hand made Cruise Chaser change color.
I will say I was in Arthas' chat, I think the night before you went offline, and the whole chat was discussing it, and they kept saying stuff about the cat and the heart and everything else, and that was really, really interesting to see a chat just sit there and talk about it.
If you think about it, those Twitch chat figured out. I mean, of course, they just throw ideas. Like I said, there's not much left already. There was already people immediately saying, what if you put them four? What if you hit them four in a row? Now, my first impression is, okay, we will try that eventually. We went on 12 hours to try everything else. Then we come back and say, me and my static, we took a break. We are like, okay, everybody go take a short break, 20 minutes. We brainstorm while we are resting and see where else we can think about that this codex can come from. 20 minutes we came together, we all came to the same conclusion. It has to be the Inception. Because that face is too easy already. Mm-hmm. Something is missing there. So we just put all our attention there, but we were already super exhausted. And I'm not gonna lie, because we tried so many things and we are like, I'm like, you know what? Maybe someone will figure it out, man. We take a break, maybe someone will figure it out. So that was a little bit like, we decided. That was actually the shortest day we had. We usually stream 12 to 6, we usually stream 16 plus. That was the shortest day we had. We streamed 13 and a half hours and we caught it. Because we were like, we kind of like, we feel like it's a collective effort, right? And like Stal says, and you guys agreed as well, it's just a matter of time. Within that day, we knew it's going to be figured out. So we were like, okay, we tried a lot already. Hopefully this would help some other groups. Maybe they are watching, maybe not, who knows? Mm-hmm. Together, we already solved half or more. People will just do it. We get the idea. It's not like we miss out anything. We all had the same. Even Twitch had the idea. It just narrowed down already. So I think it was just that day that we will figure it out, All
right. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask this next question over here to Sfia. Question to Sfia: how does it feel to get world first as a black mage? Were you hoping to see more black mages clear to fight? Big respect, by the way.
Felt really good. I mean, I've played this job for so long, and being able to actually put it in a world first clear is very, I don't know, it's a good feeling. Yeah. I'm not really that surprised that there aren't more. It's never really been a super prog friendly job. Mm-hmm. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if more show up soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no reason that you.
Right now, they're really good. Right.
Yeah, it's in a really strong spot still.
Okay. Okay. This next question, and after this question, I'll do the giveaway. What the hell does MOOF mean?
Stal, do you have the link?
I can look for it real quick.
Yeah, it's just hold on. I think Stal can find the link that can explain what MOOF is.
Okay, I'll permit you, Stal. So you have 180 seconds to post it in chat. If you wanted to post it in there. Oh, it's actually a picture. Maybe I can look at it too without messing everything up.
It's so dumb.
What is this?
Is this because it's I get it. All right. Because it's a cow trying to be a dog. It makes sense. I get it.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. So that's what it is.
The secret's out, guys. Jesus.
I thought it's some sort of short form, like acronym.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like McDonald's, something. I don't know. That being said, I'm going to do a giveaway. Whoever wants to enter this can. Chat is open. The secret word is nuggets in all caps with a Z at the end in honor of Stal and her McDonald's cup here. Yep. And so anyone can enter that and then just get with me after the show. And it will be up to $25 US for Mog Station. So if you have a different currency, you will have to figure out whatever the transition is. And I can talk to you guys too about it, and we'll figure it out after the show. And we'll do that after a few more questions. We'll do the giveaway winner. But that being said, let's see. There got to be another question in here I can ask. Okay. To MOOF, do you have... I'm actually going to laugh a little bit every time I say MOOF now for some reason because of the cow. Just all I'm going to think about. Do you have any tips or advice for raiders in Elemental looking to prog hardcore? You guys aren't in Elemental though, right?
Yeah.
We're in Elemental.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, you are in Elemental. Sorry, I forget Tom Berry's in Elemental. And okay, never mind. Go ahead.
You can answer this since he was the one that found me.
If you get an NZ player, tell him not to join. Is that the...
Yeah, don't go to Q. His recruitment policies are a little interesting.
Vi, do you want to say something? Help.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's really a matter of mindset over anything else. It's just like putting your mind towards where it needs to be put, right? Like, I think it sort of relates back to the discussion we had before about FFLogs versus, everything else. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're after like a static to compete hardcore, like there's plenty of extremely strong teams on Tomberry. Well, there's plenty of teams on Tomberry which are like progging Ultimate right now, who are like even pushing Wormhole, like probably like 5 or 6 of them pushing Wormhole right now. And like, I think it's actually quite easy to find a medium core group on Tomberry that can clear this hard content, which you can use as a stepping stone to move up. Because getting into hardcore content, like for us this tier, we were recruiting, and it's very difficult for a team like ours to take people who have absolutely no experience in Ultimate, right? Because like we were saying before, the skills that you need as a player, you don't really necessarily have doing the content available in the game yet. So,
Okay.
A lot of rambling a bit there. I'm not too sure what I said, but
okay, no, it's good.
I think like I've been trying to recruit like new players into this like world prog type of group for really long, and since AlphaScape, basically, I think the only like new player that I've managed to recruit, most of this group is like players we know for a long time, and it's kind of like we gathered back together. It's only Stal that I've managed to recruit and who's done well in this kind of prog setting, and I think it's kind of like there's a large group of players on Thornberry who are very DPS minded, and I feel it can be a bit detrimental to their performance in progression. So I think if you want to get into like hardcore raiding, you've got to keep an open mind that raiding and progging is more than just DPS.
It's a very nice way of putting it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, let me see.
I'm just gonna
Wait.
Sure.
Wait. The mindset is then why did you trust Sfia based on the dummy? What the
This was
This was
that was
back.
like 2.3
This
or
was
something.
back in a while.
okay.
Wow, man.
I'm just joking.
I was going to say, just tacking on to in terms of what you should be like trying to do to make that step from the mid-core to hardcore, networking is really, really, really important. Make sure you get your name out there. You're talking to everyone involved, all the teams that are hardcore, because they all know each other. And they know that when vacancies come up, they can recommend people and names get passed around. Just talk to people. Let it be known what you're interested in and how and why.
All right, guys, just to remind you, Nuggets is the key word here for the giveaway. We're going to ask another question here. Okay, this is actually an interesting question, and this could be kind of more of a global question. Everybody, do you think that there's a place for greater RNG in an Ultimate that is less scripted fight and something that becomes much more about reactions and on-the-spot thinking?
Next one, go first. Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay, you go.
Okay, Final Fantasy 14 is a game, right? That we base on rotation and CDs and stuff, right? I don't think you can make full random fights. Like for example, Living Liquid do 5 splash in a row. Wait, what do they call splash in NA? The spam the ground. What is it called?
Protean? Well, no, that's Cascade.
I think it's still called Splash. We call it
Oh,
Splash.
splash. Right? Yeah. Like they can't do things like it splash 10 times in a row, right? Otherwise, otherwise the fight become too easy, right? Your tank, everybody just only the healers have to spam cure, or you can't do 10 busters in a row, right? They can't go that RNG, right? So what I think they have been trying to do is same timeline, fixed timeline, but who gets something different. This one I'm actually really surprised. Why is enumeration always 3-3? Is that a bug? Why can't the enumeration be 1 to 3? Actually, now that we talk about RNG, suddenly it hit me. Why does both enumeration has to be 3-3? If it's actually 1 to 3, right, it would make so much a big difference, I think.
Yeah.
Right? That's weird. Like, I think this is the RNG they can go into. But if it's just strictly just scripted, like I just mentioned, the enumeration, that's a little bit weird. I think that's not. I think that's what they can improve in terms of RNG. But in terms of like the timeline, I think they shouldn't. They can't change much. Yeah.
The enumeration example specifically actually probably has the same amount of RNG as it did before when you had different numbers, because it used to be on very set people every time. It was either a tank or healer or healer, right? Now it's on random DPS, so it can be on one of 4 people. So you're still having to adjust and react and use priority systems. It's just where that variance is different now. It's not in the number, it's in the target.
Okay. All right, so we got another question here for MOOF. Even if you guys weren't really planning to make World Second, you guys said that you're not really racing as much, you just wanted to stream and just go hard at it. How confident were you were going to get World Second when you actually got it, or maybe even a little bit before you got it?
I
think once we got the heart, we were sort of expecting the flood of clears to come in within the next day.
Okay.
Which
we did, but you guys were the first among the flood. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe earlier than what we did though. I don't know, because we kind of assumed that like all the hardcore World Pro groups were like stuck at alpha, right? And once the heart was out there, they just power on through. That's
kind of what I was thinking too. Was that once the heart wasn't there anymore, all the people who weren't streaming were like, "Oh, okay, that clicked, got it. I've already had lots of practice on everything else, and so now we got this cleared," and they would just go and clear it with consistency. But that didn't happen. It showed that there was like not really a huge difference outside of most of the other groups that were progging that weren't streaming than everyone else that was streaming. It was kind of weird.
I feel like by the time the heart was made public, a lot of the hardcore teams were running into either schedule issues, they're running out of time. I know that a couple of teams in particular had that issue, so that changed kind of the layout of the rankings at the end.
All right.
I think because we only prog for like maximum 12, 13 hours a day. We didn't really think that we would get anywhere close to top 3, top 5 versus like all the other
I
groups doing
think
16.
you guys timeline was perfect, really.
Yeah, the timing of
time
when True Heart
was perfect.
happened.
Yeah,
was
the
very
timeline
good
was
for us.
perfect.
Hold on, Arthas. All right, Stal, keep going.
No, it's just that I think if True Heart was a thing just a couple days earlier, we probably would have fallen so far behind just because of the lack of time that we put in for prog compared to other groups. But when True Heart came out, it was like the 6th day, and most groups only prepared 1 week off, so everyone was just running out of time by then.
Yeah, that was like Sunday, Monday timeline, right? That sounds about right. And so most people would be in their normal work week afterwards, or they would have gone on if they only scheduled the 1 week.
Yeah, our schedule was kind of like different in that our first week was quite bad. We had a couple of members having exams, and so our schedule, like I think the other hardcore groups, they started with a lot of hours and went down. But our schedule, we started with like still quite a lot of hours, but not like 16 hours, and we went up as we approached the clear. So I think that worked in our favor.
Okay. And then we have another question here. This is actually directed straight towards Stal. You had you're kind of newer, and you have experience going kind of from a mid-core mentality to a hardcore mentality. How was that experience for you, switching that mindset?
Oh, it was scary. Like doing Alpha Skate hardcore with Q was really scary, I feel.
Oh, don't scare them away.
Oh, it was great. It was a really fun experience. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
It was fun, but at the same time, there's now this level of pressure that people kind of expect you to do well because now you've made it public that you're HC and not midcore. And going into it was just like, I've never blind progged in my life, and this is the first MMO I've raided in. I've only done like 2 Savage tiers and like 2 Ultimate, so what's it gonna be like blind progging? It was kind of nerve-wracking, but I think Q really helped me deal with it eventually, yeah.
Okay. So Q wasn't like a jerk and, telling you to... Okay.
He didn't make me pass on the dummy, so that was good.
I'm glad to see you've learned something in the last 4 years.
Oh
Then.
my god.
Oh god.
Q's gonna get memed on forever for this. Okay, I need to do the giveaway, and then we'll do the next question after this. So let's see. Let's go ahead and press the button and see what happens. Okay, this is for Rue Reaper. Rue _ Reaper.
Rigged.
Do you know them?
Of course, rigged.
Okay. I don't. You have won, so get with me after the show in Twitch whispers and such, and we will. Okay, just get with me after the show, and we'll work it out. Up to $25 in Mog Station items, and just tell me what those are. Go ahead and start looking at them. This next question's for Arthas here. Arthas. To Arthas, I bought a 346 Chakram from the internet, and then he changed to mechanic. Can I get a refund?
Oh no. Yo, tomorrow is the mock bot, right? Is it tomorrow? The CAC bot, right? The jumbo one?
Yeah.
Go buy it. That's where I'll return you. That's where you get your 1 million MGP. That's your refund. Right? Make sure you buy it. 3468. Yeah. Everybody buy it. I bought 3. I believe Yoshida watched the stream, and I believe because of the limit card nightmare he gave me, I believe he will program it rigged for me this time.
Oh,
I bought all 3 tickets.
Okay.
Go get it. Yeah. Your jumbo catbot.
All right. Let's see. That was such so that just happened because you just kept chanting it every time you got to that part, right? Yeah.
You have to, man. Like, it helps, right? It helps. Like, my steady member also say, yeah, I kind of also do the same. In the mind, I just keep reciting. Like, when you watch Xeno stream, they also do the same. 5 is on the right, 5 is on the right. Right? We all do that, right? It's just that, it just became a mantra.
Yeah, I did it as well.
Yeah, see?
That's awesome. All right, let's see. Well, this is kind of a question I could pretty much answer, but I'll let you guys answer this too. What do you think of Red Mage for Alex Ultimate? Is it viable?
Didn't someone clear on Red Mage?
They did.
Two groups. Yeah.
Viable, yes. Preferred.
No, yeah.
Like our caster he played Red Mage every tier. Like before this is his first time playing Summoner in Prog, and yeah, that kind of
Yeah, Sfia's just enjoying this.
Can somebody ask this guy right here?
I feel really bad about that. Some people got offended. And yeah,
about the weapon?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Feel really bad about throwing it up. Well, obviously, people are like, "Oh, what a selfish, entitled jerk," and I can kind of see that. But it was only ever meant to be a meme. I don't actually think Red Mage is garbage. It's not very suited for that fight.
And you just don't enjoy it at all. You just
No,
enjoy it. That's just a personal thing.
Yeah, I was stuck playing Red Mage because of like the design of Red Mage and the design of Stormblood encounters every single fight for an entire expansion. And because of that, I have like trauma to that job, and that's why I don't like it. It's nothing to do with it being trash. I just dislike it.
Yeah. And I can see how people might not get the context. I thought it was funny because I understand. I've heard your pain multiple times about it. So, and other raiders complain about it. Okay, so let's see. Is this a question? We've seen the game gets easier every expansion. For example, the accuracy from A Realm Reborn getting removed. I suppose that's the point. Aggro management, utility in general. What is your opinion on this? Do you agree? And if so, to what extent? Do you guys feel like the game is getting easier and easier? I mean, with Ultimate, obviously not, but I mean...
Well, do you know how many times I have to yell at Q to turn on his tank stance in Little Liquid?
So many times.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. Okay.
It's not easy, but I think it is getting easier. The fundamentals of doing your optimal rotation has just steadily gotten easier and easier over time, but the encounter difficulty has gone up to kind of counter that, specifically in Ultimates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Let's see, another one. I don't understand this reference, Arthars. I don't know if I should ask it or not. When are you going to buy Yakinko for me? What's that?
What?
Yakiniku?
Oh, yakiniku?
Yeah.
Barbecue. Yeah. Hey, yo, next year Fan Fest, man. I heard there's yakiniku joint in Vegas. Yeah, we can go for that. Yeah.
We've gone there every Fan Fest so far.
Yeah, let's go. Next year, let's go. Let's go, man.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's find at least a couple more questions here. I'm trying to find ones that are directed towards MOOF, but I don't see them right now. So if you guys aren't asking enough questions about MOOF, you should be asking them. You could wait until next year when they get World First and they come on the show for the World First show.
Yeah. No way.
Okay. Let's see. Sfia, you're so cool showcasing that you're the only one to clear week 1 so far ahead. I could probably throw away a weapon.
That wasn't what it was. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, I see the sarcasm in there.
I get it.
Let's see. For a mid-core static like I'm in, how do you approach problems like people not taking prog seriously and dying to shit on farm, and losing focus without calling them out and offending them? I could probably answer this in some regard. I was always in a casual static, but if someone's fucking up, I would always tell them to shut the fuck up. I would, and I understand, and people would get upset with you. It really depends on if you're like in a leader position in the group, I guess. But a lot of people start to lose that leader position after a while, and it becomes a group thing where you all start to get this hive mind of, oh, this is how you should play, and this is how to be good, and everything else. But there are groups out there who have really annoying people in their group, and they need to tell them to shut up every once in a while. And if you're not going to get anywhere if you don't tell them to shut up and focus up. Right?
In groups, everyone should be going towards the same goal, right? Mm-hmm. So if someone calls you out, you shouldn't take offense to it. You should realize that it's like you're literally being asked to help the rest of the team with something. And not doing that is showing like a pretty big disregard to what everyone else in your team wants and is trying to achieve. No matter how hardcore or casual your team is, you're always going to have those types of disagreements where some people put in more effort and some people don't. The way that you address it should always be the same, though. And that you bring it up, address it, make sure it's clear that it's not personal, but actually do something about it, or else it just builds awkward environments.
Yeah. Make sure everyone has the same goal. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about this pre-show as well. I think it's the perfect time to touch on it. Like in a static, everybody needs to know what they are going for. Everybody needs to be on the same page. Every now and then there's a bump here and there. Every now and then there's going to be conflict here and there. Every once in a while maybe there's a drama here and there. But you have to understand that this is towards the goal. This is not a personal attack. There's no such thing as perfect harmony in a static. Even in the workplace, like we were talking about, in the workplace, in a team, in sports, unless you're playing tennis solo, obviously. That's why some people choose to do that, or golf. But otherwise, if you play in team sports, conflict happens. Why didn't you pass the ball to me? I'm open. It's an empty net. Why you try to go for the 3-pointer? You know, things like that. This type of thing happen. It's the same like, if you're not doing your mechanic right, it's the same. How you being caught out, you have to understand this is just strictly the team, the agenda. It's nothing personal to you. Maybe you are in the wrong place. This is why you need to change a job. This is why you need to change a team. But it doesn't mean that because those people are wrong. It's just you guys don't get together. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Don't look too much into it. Don't hold grudges against it. That's the nature in terms of any organization or teams. You know, that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. I think everybody would kind of agree with that. MOOF, did you guys have any issues where people were kind of getting out of line and you had to realign them?
Yeah, I think we had a bit of friction, and it was, of course, it was over wormhole.
Nice.
Yeah, but eventually, when we stopped, we had a discussion about it. Then next day we reset, and we did, got back at it, and we did pretty well. I think everyone knows it's not personal at the end of the day.
You have to,
just,
yeah.
Yes.
If you take it personally, then you're gonna have issues in a serious raid group, I think. Okay, so let's. Did anyone in this call have an issue with wormhole number 5? Because there's a question about asking what to do with wormhole number 5, and I don't know if this was a joke at somebody or it was actually a serious question about how to handle number 5 for wormhole.
It's kind of the hardest one, so it could be a serious question, but it could be a meme.
Yeah. Q, do you have an answer to wormhole number 5?
No, I think in our strat, it's also the most difficult one to handle. Number 5.
Same. The tightest wormhole.
I actually made a vid explaining wormhole strat. If anyone wants to use that,
Shout out.
Another shameless plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Stal, when are you gonna play Machinist?
Oh God.
No.
After Dancer.
Oh.
After Dancer.
Okay. And let's see, we'll do one more question, then we'll wrap it up. Let's see if I can find a really good one. Oh, this is actually a great one, just came in. This is for the MOOF members. What starter Pokemon did you pick?
Salvo.
Oh.
I don't play, so you have to ask Stal.
It was just me and my statics monk that were really happy that we cleared it because we really, really wanted to play Pokemon. Yeah.
I'll have to say that like there's nothing that's better than the first 3 starter Pokemon in the original Pokemon. Everything else has been like some off-brand joke to me every time I see it. We're going completely into Pokemon right now on the Ultimate Show, just to let you know. I'll let you know. The only one that's good is the monkey. The rest of them suck. But
What?
Just saying.
Oh, you triggered her now. You triggered her.
I'm just saying. Anyways, so that being said, let's go into some of the final portions of the show right here. There is a question I kind of wanted to ask you guys. After doing the race for a while and everything else, there's a lot of people focusing on it in different ways, and you all have different thoughts and things that you would want to say about the world race and people watching the world race. And so, Sfia, I actually want to ask you, people who are watching the world race and everything else, do you have anything in general you would want to say to those people? Or paying attention to it, not watching it, but paying attention to it?
So you mean just a general to people who were watching the Twitch progression?
Not Twitch progression, just monitoring it in general, I guess. Like tweets and how everything was going, and
I mean, every time we see people interested in it, it makes it's just a cool feeling, right? People being interested in what we're doing and the race in general makes it feel like it matters more, even though it's a really individual thing. It's really cool seeing the interest around it. A big part of that is you, Frosty, putting all the work you do, which we're all very appreciative for.
Yeah.
It's just a really exciting time. I think prog doesn't happen very often, so seeing people enjoy it is it's really cool and validating.
Okay.
Even if it's not about us and just like people watching streams, just have fun with it.
I'm going to ask Stal, since she did a good amount of streaming for it as well. Is there anything you want to say to people who are watching your stream?
Well, it was really fun. I think streaming, like we said earlier, I think streaming really helped our group a lot, and I'm just glad that everyone had as much fun as we did, honestly. Yeah. And it's great that, like, technically all the streamer groups are indirectly helping each other, giving each other information, and we're just kind of sharing it around. So, yeah, that felt really, really good. And I don't think I ever want to go back to not streaming prog if possible.
I gotcha. No, that makes sense, and it's fun to see all the groups kind of go into each other's streams and talk to each other and everything else. It was awesome seeing Sfia and TPS going into streams too, and just being a part of the chat. Everyone got riled up with that, and it was always fun. And Arthars, I'll ask you too, because you have probably the most negative opinion with the world race and everything else.
No. Like I said earlier, I have no problem with the world race. It's just that, like I said, if I'm in one, I will embrace it. It's just that I know I'm not in one. It's just unnecessary pressure, right? But overall, wait, what was the question again?
The question was, do you have anything that you want to say to people who are kind of watching the world race and everything else? One last thing to say to them, people who are watching Ultimate and streams and all that good stuff.
I think race or not, like even if, like I was saying earlier, right? Even if Sfia and team stream, I think it would be as great, or if not greater, right? It's just it's good to see everybody coming in, chipping around, giggle here and there, meme here and there, watching it, supporting. Yeah, I think, dude, I done all 3 Ultimate on stream. This is the only one that blew up for some reason. When I was doing UCorp, maybe I was just still a small streamer then. I mean, I'm still am. And then didn't really get a lot of crazy amount of people, maybe 600, 1,000. This time it just blew up, right? Constantly, every day, 3,000, 4,000. I was quite surprised as well. And I think in my clear video, I also add in a thank you message to everybody. I think that thank you message somehow made it to live stream fail, the wholesome category. So if you guys want to go check it out, I read the comment. I was like, wow, this is the first time. This is amazing. Like, the only thing I feel really bad is that I clear too fast on the next day. That is the only thing I feel really bad. But otherwise, dude, the experience is not just the ultimate. The ultimate itself is a crazy experience, really. It's like my favorite fight, the most fun prog I had. But the streaming experience, it's hard to explain, man. Things that I only seen in big streams, like when I watch Dyrus, when I watch like Aimbot Kevin, when I watch like Hablu, when I watch like Doc, Shroud, when he was still in Twitch. These are the things you see. People see something funny, bam, spam law. People hear some nice music. People start doing PPD, stuff like that. It never happened to my channel before, right? So now when I feel it and I see it, I'm like, wow. When I say something funny, like in terms of like cheating, and then I see all the Forsen CD comes up, I'm like, wow, this is the first time I felt like I'm like a streamer, for the first time.
Like a big streamer.
Yeah, like the very first time. Of course, I know this will all die down. I know, right? Like, after that, hey, I hope we get more Ultimate. Me, Stal, maybe MOOF team, we will all enjoy this again, right? It's gonna be so much fun. Wow, but this is a wonderful experience. I like Stal says, I definitely will be streaming every time, but I just can't think not doing it again the next time. It's just too good, man. It's just too good.
Okay. Ultimate's become, just the progression has become a huge community event, not just for races. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like for me, when we were on the Enrage, it's like I get locked in. So what I do is I I just open Stal's Twitch chat and watch because I can't do anything anymore once I get locked in the jail. It's amazing.
All right. I have one question that somebody asked, and I figured I might as well, since we're on that topic, is they wanted to know the whole Final Fantasy XIV progress thing and tracking World Prog and how I got into it, and if I find it more interesting than racing myself. I meant to ask this during the viewer questions. I'm sorry. I won't make this the last question. We'll figure something else out. But the whole, I do want to answer this because the only reason I got into it is because I posted on Reddit one time. I was like, hey, this is kind of fun, but there's nowhere listing anything. Should I just put up a list or something and kind of track it? And they're like, yeah, sure, why not try it out? That's literally all it was. And then it turned into something a little bit bigger. People wanted to submit names. I'm like, submit names? You haven't cleared anything. I don't know. You're going to like, all right, well, whatever. And then like it turned into this whole thing. I wasn't even going to track Ultimate, to be honest with you. Because I was like, how do you track one fucking fight? Right? And so the only reason I'm in it is because it just snowballed into what it is now. It was never really meant to be anything more than just I was interested in tracking it and there's no other source. And so I threw it on a spreadsheet and made it happen. And if I find it more interesting, I've never raced before, so I don't really know. I want to do blind prog and do something like that one day. But I don't know if I'll ever really get the chance and the time to do it. And I would say it's a lot of interest. It's very interesting to figure out how to not only track it, but make it more give people what they want in terms of tracking it, like putting updates out there about new phases and new other things. As soon as TPS showed me that video, though, I was like, fuck. I can't comment on anything anymore. So that was the only thing, but yeah. Arthars, hands up. What's up?
Like, okay, you have done like all these giveaway. Hello, thanks for the breakfast. Okay. You see, you already done things like giving community the stuff, right? Why? Like, is there any way you can like sneak it in? You know, ask Square Enix like, yo, what if I mean I've been tracking this. What if we give some sort of incentive to say the top 3? Is it possible that you spearhead something from here on? You
mean spearhead, like give like the top 3 teams some reward or something?
Yeah.
Outside of discussing the possibility of that on this show, I don't think I can. So, I mean, that whole process is a whole mixed thing. And so it really just comes down to what Square Enix can do. And I think there are issues with awarding the world first players. And we've discussed this in the past on actually...
They give laptops to the feast!
Oh, fuck. All right, so Feast, you get them all on stage and they compete on computers that are monitored and put there, right? There's so many things that are iffy and a little bit more tricky when everybody's on their home computer racing against each other, right? It's harder to really control that, I think. And so it would be awesome. And I'll ask, this is a good way to end often. My opinion on this is I would like to see maybe either some sort of title or some sort of recognition, things that they could take away if they found out something was wrong later on with it all. But I mean, they have their special tools of looking at fights and figuring out if things were legitimate and all that great stuff. More because you get a tweet and that's really it. You get the one tweet that says, hey, congratulations. But it would be cool if there was something that wasn't like huge that they had to dedicate to of rewarding these players, because they can track it and they can make sure things are legitimate. I think they can do it, but it would probably have to be a title, and that might be basically it. I don't know what else they could really give that wouldn't be too much overboard. But that being said, the people who were racing, what would you want to see as rewards? I guess I'll start with MOOF and maybe Q if you want to answer that.
Oh, I mean, I don't think like the race itself is the reward for us. I think, well, for me, it's a lot of fun to take part in. It's like something to look forward to every few months. Get to interact with the rest of the raiding community, the hardcore groups. Mm-hmm. I mean, if there was anything, I think something like just the title or something would be more than like, yeah, it would be nice.
Okay, all right, Sfia.
The cruise chaser, like surfing on a mount. Give me that.
That would be a lot of jealous people. I think that would start a horrible storm. That would be really rough. Because then they'd say, in order to get this mount, you have to prog 16 hours a day for the first week and take off work. I feel like the achievement level would be too high for that. But Arthas, do you have a suggestion if people should be rewarded, and if so, what?
I mean, I think title is fine. Like, we are the perfect legend, right? What if the Wolfers are the perfect legend of legends?
We just keep adding legends to the title. Yeah. Okay.
Right? They are the top of the top, you know? They are the legendary legends, right? You know what I mean? Like, give them something. I think they deserve it. I really think they deserve it.
Okay. And I guess, you know what, I might as well ask Stal and Vi too, not just MOOF in general with Q answering for him. I'm sure they might have different opinions here. Six, what's your opinion on rewards?
I kind of agree with the others. I think like titles are fine. Maybe like a cutting edge title like WoW does, when you clear it like within, the patch cycle or whatever, you get
or a server announcement
title and everyone else. Yeah. I mean, that's fine too. Okay. I mean, because like the others, I don't really think that any sort of like monetary or physical reward is really. Personally, I wouldn't really care about that, because, like you said, for me, the prog itself is fun enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as Q and Vi as well. Prog is good enough for me. I don't really care about anything else, really.
Wholesome. This is wholesome, man. Super wholesome.
It's the friends we make along the way.
Yeah.
That is most important.
Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and start wrapping up the show here. I mean, we've been on for about, I'd say 2.5 hours, which is pretty good. And again, to people who are watching the show, everyone on the show is in a very early morning time zone right now, except for, I guess, Sfia, who didn't have to get up as early as everyone else. So I appreciate it. It was awesome to have everybody on here. I do want to go round table here and have everyone do their own shout outs and things they want to say before ending the stream. And I guess I'll go through everyone on MOOF first. And Q, do you want to lead that?
Oh yeah. I think shout outs are like thanks to Elena Rose for putting up with our tank, waking her up every morning at 5 a.m. Thanks to Snoop Kish for subbing for us on the first day. Thanks to Raf at can I link her Twitter?
Yeah. Let me make sure you got a permit on there so I don't meme you with a ban. Hold on. I think I got the name right. Yeah. Okay, you're good.
Yeah. Thanks to Raf at Mishika. She drew all these T icons for us. Really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone. Like after we cleared, there was the gigantic line of mounts in front of our house. Everyone who came to celebrate with us, and everyone who is supporting us on YouTube, Twitch, Discord, Reddit, you made it really great for us.
Okay. Stal?
Yeah, mainly shout out to Twitch chat, really, and everyone who was just out there celebrating the clear with us. It was really, really, really nice and boosted our morale a lot. I think that really helped us get the clear on the same day. Yeah.
Okay. And Vi?
I think they took most of my shout outs, but I'll shout out the rest of our static.
Okay.
And the other streamers as well, like Arthars and One Ace as well, definitely all helped us along the way. Mm-hmm. Ariza as well in the chat. Mm-hmm. He did the whole gavel phase, and that was a video we used to figure out how to get through it. And I guess all the streamers, because we really had like a lot of clips and a lot of VODs and everything to go through, and I think we all sort of helped each other along the way. Yeah,
it was really awesome to see that happen. It's a unique interaction. And before I get to you, Sfia, I do want to go ahead and say something about One Ace. Is amazing to see them play, and they're always awesome to see going on. I'd love to get him on the show just to talk to him again, and then I would have to get Arthas on here to do my translations for me and put him through that whole ring. But, one day. Actually, you know what? I'm going to... Yeah, Sfia, if you don't mind, you can do your shout-outs now. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Initially to my team, of course. I'm very proud of the guys. They did really well. Our support crew as well, 9th and 10th man, and people like Layla Bell, who gets 2 a.m. DMs about why can't I beat Fate Calibration Alpha. Radiance FC, Roses of May FC, lots of support from those guys. Everyone on social media. has been really supportive as well. Lots of shout outs of congratulations, and it's been awesome to see. The other competing teams as well, even if they weren't quote unquote competing, it's always really, it's nice to have competition. It just makes it more fun.
Right.
And you as well, Frosty, for organizing all of this as you do.
Man, every time someone says that, I don't organize shit. I just put something on a spreadsheet. You guys get together and do it. I'm not like checking with teams. And I'm like,
we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you guys are sweet. Now I feel like it's going to get to my head here. So we'll go to Arthars.
What can I say, man? Like, where are we going to get a platform where we all sit together, 6 of us here talking about the game we all like? It's because of you, Frosty. Biggest shout out to you, obviously, right? And also, again, thanks for having me on this show. I kind of feel like a little bit out of place. We got a world first and seconds here, but hey, I just want to say congratulations, man. The world first and second group, new profound respect, especially Sfia's team. Fucking insane. How you guys tackle it so much faster, head and shoulders above us. That's insane for your whole team, right? Congratulations, right? Shout out to all the Twitch chat, obviously. They hang around for the whole 10 days. I really don't know what else I could do if I were to just prog it and just do my normal interaction. I don't think I can manage it. But I think all of you were amazing hanging out together. You guys kind of take care of that yourself. I like it. And the memes, the fun, the stuffs, the stuff that we created, the clips that we've seen, the moments that we went through, the new transition, we see the new face we've seen, we experienced it together. I'm so glad that it worked out. I'm so glad it worked out. And thanks for your fucking Twitch Primes. And dude, I have so much Twitch Prime this month. It's insane. Thanks a lot for the Twitch Prime. And thanks for wanting me to shove advertisement. I didn't want to do it, but you guys want it. You guys want ads down your throat. I just keep shoving it down. And
oh, you I take it. Yeah, no, I could.
Yeah, I really did it. They want it. You give what the people want, right? And then with the Prime, with the ads, I'm gonna probably build a new PC thanks to you guys. So special shout out. Yeah. Hope we get Ultimate every 3 months, and you guys will do the same. Thanks a lot.
Oh, okay. And I do want to also go ahead and say thank you so much to everyone on the show. Thank you everybody that was in the World Race. Thank you everybody who was watching it too, because it has been weird. It's something that I didn't expect with my life to change in some way. Every 3 months, it's been a while for Ultimate, but every 3 months it seems like I can all get everybody together and we can all just talk about it and get really excited about new content coming out, and it means the world that you guys actually enjoy that stuff. So thank you guys, and thank you everybody watching the show. I gotta say a special thank you to my wife, who supports me all the time in the background. I have to say it every single time, definitely, Carrara. And also thank you very much to Andre Kane for the music I use in the intro and the closing, and thank you very much to Blazana for the artwork I use on the show, and all the people, of course, supporting the show and making it happen here. I want to say that this will be up, the VOD will be up by at least Monday morning for everybody who is unable to kind of get it with the little secret give thing I do for the subs and everything else. But you'll be able to get it Monday morning. I should be better. Hopefully I will not upload it completely mute it like I did last time. And then I will have a good video ready to go. With that all being said, thank you Square Enix, thank you Yoshida, thank you everybody for making this such a wonderful game. And guys, remember to everybody, you better have your mics unmuted because you're gonna say bye and wave and everything in a second. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Be good to each other. Keep cool. Stay frosty. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh man.